We're just gonna start.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really sucking the ball. Knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets from New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets! Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats, where do they go? To meet the Mets! All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball for the Mets of New York town. Give 'em a yell! Give 'em a hand! And let them know you're rooting in the stand. Come on and meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really sucking the ball. Knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town. Of New York town. Hot dogs, green grass, all out of shade. Guaranteed to have a heck of a day because those Mets are really rocking that ball, hitting those home runs over the wall. Little Jersey, Brooklyn Queens are turning on. Let's go Mets! That's the cheer all over New York Times.
Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, Hut. And here we are, less than 3 hours away from the trading deadline. And, well, all's quiet on the Western Front, at least with the New York Mets at the moment. But never fear, there is time. As long as you got time. You know, baseball does not have a clock, but we do have a clock at 4 p.m. And there is no waiver deal this year. So the teams are going to have to make trades prior to 4 p.m. And if they don't make a deal before 4 p.m., then they can't improve their teams going forward. So here we have Stony 814 in the chat. Hi, how are you? Nelson Cruz. How's it going? You know, Nelson Cruz, you know, he got his start with the Mets, you know. He was a minor leaguer. I think he won what trade he went into. Yeah, so a lot of stuff is going on. I'm sorry, I'm just checking my phone, which I have on the side. There's so much stuff going on. You know, Jose Barrios was traded. There were a lot of teams in on him, but he went to the Blue Jays. And they give up Simeon Woods Richardson, which is a big deal. This is a big deal. You know, they give some big prospects for Barrios. But there were so many teams involved: the Padres, the Yankees, the Mets, the Rays, the Giants, the Mariners, and the Red Sox. So he's off the board. So he's gone. From Ben, rumors Biggio for Story. I guess we'll get started. Here's Trevor's story. Some of the teams that have been mentioned, and some of them have popped up in the last few hours. The A's have sort of been there for a while. The Brewers, they might be out because they picked up Eduardo Escobar. Now, before I go any further, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. The Brewers, the Mets, obviously. The Mets are but the teams are complaining a lot about the Rockies in terms of just dealing with them. The Giants, the Rays, the Blue Jays, believe it or not, and the Cardinals. The Cardinals was mentioned in the last few hours on Twitter, and interesting. And yeah, so Barrios is going to the Blue Jays. That's a big pickup for them. It really, even if they don't make it into a postseason this year, really sets them up big for next year. It really does. It really, really does. But obviously, you know, we're Mets fans. I don't know where it stands with Trevor Story. I also don't know. It seems like things are stalled with Chris Bryant. I think we have a bit of a game of chicken with Bryant and the Mets. Because, as you know, before the season, the talk was that the Cubs were asking the Mets for Francisco Alvarez. And as you know, that's not going to fly. That's not going to fly, at least with the Mets. They weren't going to do that, even back then. And they're certainly not going to do it now for a guy that's going to be a rental. And from what I understand, the thing with Barrios is very much the same issue, is that they were asking the Mets for Alvarez. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So if you're not going to give up Batty, you're not going to give up Alvarez, and those sort of bigger trades are out of the question. So also seen online that on TV that the Scherzer Turner deal is not quite done yet. So this Dodger deal is not quite official. One of the Padres have sort of gone back in there and said, can we make a trade? We were going to make a trade yesterday. I'll give you what you want. I wonder what the Padres are thinking there. They lost out on Scherzer. They lost out on Barrios. Interesting. But Max Scherzer and Trey Turner are going to go to the Dodgers, probably on likelihood, and they gave up their two best prospects um, to the Nationals. The Nationals, I'll give you a Mets rumor that's popped up, and that is if the Mets lose out on Bryant or Story, keep your eye out for Josh Harrison. His name has come up this morning. It's come up with so all the teams that don't get Bryant, Harrison's probably the fallback. So it's the Mets, the Giants, the Jays, the Rays, and the Phillies. The Phillies. What did I see about the Phillies a little while ago? They were pushing for somebody. Let me see who they were pushing for. Uh, um, I know the Phillies are. I think are pushing for Kyle Gibson. Yeah, so the Phillies. That's the team for Kyle Gibson of the Texas Rangers. Let me just look at my list here. Some names are coming off the board. They said that John Gray is not going to get moved now, so he's off. I heard that a few hours ago that they want to resign him. He wants to stay, so he's off. He's not going anywhere. Uh, Sean Armstrong of the Orioles got traded to the Rays. A name that's popped up is Scott. You're going to hear a lot of middle relievers going to get moved. Scott Barlow of the Royals. He's been talked about with teams. Jan Gomes, the catcher for the Nats. He's been mentioned with the A's and with the Jays. That entire team in Washington, other than Soto, is up for grabs. Every single player. As you know, late last night, Kyle Schwarber got traded to the Red Sox. I want to understand it was the two teams were either going to get Anthony Rizzo, and that's the Yankees got Rizzo, and Schwarber went to Boston. I was reading last night that it was sort of those two teams were dealing with those two players. So those players were either going to go to one or the other. But to reiterate, just to go back to Scherzer, about all the teams that were involved in talks, the 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 Red Sox, the Angels, the Dodgers, the Astros, the Padres, the Mariners, the Rays, Giants, Boston, and the Blue Jays. So a lot of teams in on Scherzer. On Javi Baez, I have not heard any team other than the Mets. So if the Mets lose out on Bryant, and that's a possibility, they will. I don't know what the odds are with Baez, but like I said earlier, a lot of reports coming out that this Bryant to the Mets is sort of going by the wayside. That is not. That doesn't look like it's going to happen now. That it's all going to come down to it might be Baez a story at this point. Baez don't have a problem. You can play him anyway. You can play him at second once Lindor comes back, and you have a better chance probably signing him going forward. Hello, Southern Cal Mets fan. Hi, how are you? Um, Anthony Rizzo got traded to the Yankees. Andrelton Simmons. We'll see where he goes with this trade of the Twins, and and uh, and the Blue Jays. We'll see if he's next to go. The next, I would point out that the Mets really want to get Zach Davies. That's the name that we were hearing this morning. That Zach Davies is one of these guys the Mets are very interested in. They got a whole bunch of names on TV. Let me write a couple. There's Wade Miley. I don't think he's getting moved. Mike Minor. Keep an eye on him. He's with the Royals. I don't see the Reds trading anybody that's on their roster. I see them picking up players. They bolstered their bullpen for a reason. If there's moments of quiet, it's me just checking my phone out. Let me just take a look at Mike Minor's supposed to pitch tomorrow. He's not pitched well. His ERA is very high. He could be moved. He's bounced around a lot. I think he could be moved. Just to point that out. But let's just take a look at the feed. Here is the Braves made a trade. They have picked up Adam Duvall of the Marlins. I'm shocked because it seemed like the Marlins didn't want to make that deal. And the Braves also picked up Eddie Rosario. So the Braves have made two trades in the last few minutes. That's not good. And the Braves traded the Panda. They have traded the Panda to the Indians. Interesting. They really improved that offense. So we've seen two players now go to the. Eddie Rosario was just announced by the Braves. The Atlanta Braves today acquired outfielder Eddie Rosario on cash consideration from the Indians in exchange for infielder Pablo Sandoval. Rosario's hitting 254, 7 home runs and 46 RBIs. Interesting. So didn't even think of Reggio Cardiology asked me, "You guarantee the Mets will make a deal?" I don't guarantee anything in life. I guarantee the sun coming up. But let's see. Let me go back to my sheet here. So we'll get into this. Kyle Gibson has 4 teams attached to him right now: the Rays, the Brewers, the Red Sox, and the Phillies. We'll see where he goes. They were saying this morning that Whit Merrifield is off the board. He's not going anywhere. So he's not being traded. I think I said again, I'll take Tyler Anderson off because he's been traded. We're going to just start crossing names out now that we're at the end of this thing. So it's less than 3 hours before the trade deadline. So Zach Davies, we got 4 teams: the Mets, the Giants, the Mariners, and the Rays. The Mets really want to get him. So I have no problem with him. I was going through some of his numbers last night after the live stream. And the thing that is interesting is that his walk ratio is through the roof. He's walked under 6 batters per 9 innings. Now, it's always been under 3. I wonder if he was one of these pitchers that has had trouble gripping the baseball, and and he's not using that sticky stuff. But that was very much on my mind, and I know the Mets are very interested in him. Maybe they can get him back to throwing strikes again. But that, if you want to know why his ERA has been high this year, that's probably the biggest reason. Probably a lot more runners on base for him. So the Braves have added in the last few weeks Peterson, Duvall, and Rosario. Duvall scares me the most because he hits the Mets pretty good. And the Panda, well, Skidoo, she's out of here. But all right. So Escobar got dealt to Milwaukee. That's Eduardo Escobar. Asdrubal Cabrera's still out there. Diamondbacks haven't done anything. Joaquin Soria is still out there. I've had the Mets attached to him. I'm sure a lot of these teams that want another reliever will be attached. Adam Frazier off the board got traded to the Padres. Nelson Cruz, the real Nelson Cruz, the baseball player, he is with the Rays. I mentioned Josh Harrison. John Lester, he might get moved. If they're going to move all these players, the Cubs and the Nationals are playing this weekend. They're playing tonight. They are going to be stripped of players. They're not going to have any players on both sides. It's unbelievable. Brad Hand got traded to Toronto. Daniel Hudson. A whole bunch of names have popped up with him. We got the Jays, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Red Sox, and the San Diego Padres. Craig Kimbrell. He's got so many names on him now. We got the Rays, the Braves, the Mets, the Red Sox, the Phillies, the Padres, the White Sox, the Dodgers, and the Mariners. The Mariners, what a disaster what the Mariners did. Eric Hosmer is still out there. I would think that eliminates the Red Sox with Hosmer. And I wonder now if the Rangers would be interesting. The Rangers would be interesting. Eric's GP, Mets are lame. Hey, Chris GP, if you don't like it, you don't have to be a fan of the team. If you got to be like that, Kyle Schwarber got traded to the Red Sox. He's on the IL. He should be back in about 2 weeks, I would think. Hudson was traded. Where did Hudson get traded to? Where did Hudson get traded? I'm sorry. I mean, I'm probably a little behind. Let me just take a quick peek, if you don't mind. Where did he go? Might be a little behind with certain things. Sorry. Oh, okay. He got traded to the Padres. Okay. I'm a little behind on that. All right. Well, thank you. You so many players, but thank you. Thank you for letting me know. So he's off the board. Cross him out. Now Josh Donaldson is still out there, but do the Mets want to spend a lot of money on him? I don't think so. I don't know if I want to do that. All right, let me get to it. There's a little bit of a Bryant tweet. Let me find it. It's from friend Andy Martino. He always loves to bring bad news out. From Andy. Continue to hear that it's not a sure thing that the Cubs trade Bryant at all. Yeah, okay. That's bullshit. They're going to trade him. There's no doubt. He is getting traded. They might not trade Baez, but they're going to trade Bryant. That is without a doubt. They're playing chicken with the Mets because they have no other deals with any other team. I mean, that's bull. They're playing chicken with the Mets. That's without a doubt. This is a good old fashioned game of chicken. Hector and Liza Nicola. Fingers crossed for Baez. Yeah, okay. I have no problem with that. No problem with him. Oh, Chris didn't get skadooshed yet. He's gotten a little bit of a. I'm a little bit nice right now. He kind of got. He got a timeout. We don't need the negativity. I don't need that. This is like being on a plane and someone who's complaining about the plane. Shut the f up. Shut the f up. All right. So Josh Donaldson has a contract. He's still out there. There's talk about Kenta Mahida, not with the Mets. Michael Pineda, I've heard the Jays, the Mariners, and the Phillies. I can see him going to the Phillies. Chris Stratton of the Pirates. I've heard the Padres, but I would think that with them getting Hudson, that's probably added to the question. I'm going to cross Trey Mancini. I'm crossing him off because I don't see him getting moved. Stony814 says, analysis MLB Network say they see Bryant going to the Mets. I think so too. Daniel Kim says, perfect deal would be getting Bryant, Kimbrel, and Hendricks. That might be the one guy that doesn't get traded by the Cubs as Hendricks. I think that at this point, he's got another year on his contract. You can't trade everybody. Sometimes you got to hold on to guys that are with you after this year. But Bryant's definitely getting moved. I don't believe this thing from Andy. Andy's is a dumb cuff anyway, and I don't see him staying. And the way he was sitting in that dugout yesterday, he's getting traded. He knows he's getting traded. Strike Blitz says Nimmo for Brian Reynolds. Why? Why would the why would hold on a second, folks. Hold on. Got a phone call. Be right Okay, sorry about that. I had to sort of take this important phone call. But let me get back to what the hell was I talking about? Got a little sidetracked here. I had to take care of this very important phone call. But so we have now 2.5 hours to the trade deadline, and getting back to Andy Martino, he does nothing but bring negative news when it comes to the Mets, and I don't really take anything he says uh, seriously. So he always comes out with the negativity. And let me just double back. I think Bryant is going to get moved. The way he was acting after that game yesterday. Um, oh, here we go. See, I knew this. I knew this. I knew this. I knew this from the second he came in here and complained. Okay. Goodbye, Chris. I'm tired of you old fart Met fans coming in here and complaining. You're either a fan or you're not. I'm sorry. You're gone. I'm not putting up with an old fart. And that's what we have here. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. But goodbye, Chris GP. It's malarkey. I've been a fan since the 60s. Yeah, okay. Go live back into the past. I don't need your life story. Goodbye. I'm not like the other YouTubers. This is not therapy. This is not me listening to your complaints. You want therapy? Go see a psychiatrist or a psychologist. All right. I have zero patience for this. Zero patience for the BS. I have no patience for this. None. From Mark Feinstein, the Yankees are indeed looking to trade Luke Voit per source. Oh, no kidding. Rizzo taking over first base and will avoid his arbitration. Eligible for 3 more years, and Rizzo will be a free agent. The Yankees could sign a shortstop this winter and move LeMahieu the first. But I have zero patience for a negative Met fan, and it's always the old one. It's so weird. I've been a fan since the 1967. I'm a long-suffering Mets fan. 2 years into being a Mets fan, won a World Series. You don't understand. I had to deal with 1977 and Tom Seaver getting traded. The Mets won in 86. We had Met fans that were born 84, 85. Not seen the Mets win a World Series. Okay. And and it's funny. It's always the older fans, the guys that tell you their life story. You know, that tell you their life story. I don't need to know your life story. I don't need to know how long you've been a fan. It's irrelevant to today. Mets have new ownership. Here's from Tim Britton. Hearing the Mets have not gained any traction with the Rockies still, which makes it unlikely something comes together in the next few hours between the two clubs. That's not good. I've been hearing a lot about the Rockies about a lot of complaints about the Rockies. So it doesn't surprise me, this thing about Aaron, I am terrified. Aaron, there's nothing to be terrified about. Nothing to be terrified about. It's going to be okay. What are you terrified about? What are you terrified about? It's nothing to be upset about. This is all good. But, we got another 2.5 hours of this. I know. This is just the first half hour. I got one guy telling me he's terrified. I got another guy telling me he's been a fan since 67. What the hell can I have been a fan since 67? That's not important. That is irrelevant to today. Absolutely irrelevant. That's so fun. It's so funny. It really cracks me up. Aaron says the laugh out loud Phillies and Braves are making trades. They didn't make any trades prior to this. What did the Phillies do? They brought in some lefty from the minors. That's not anything to write home about. Let's see. Okay, here's from Joel Sherman. Sense I'm getting is the Mets are still very much talking to the Cubs, but if Bryant moves, the Giants seem more likely. The Mets more on Baez. Play shortstop until Lindor returns, then move to second base to play next to his pal. You know. So from Dave Kaplan, who's David Kaplan? Who's David Kaplan? He is a Chicago reporter. Says multiple sources have confirmed the Cubs and White Sox will continue to have discussions that would send Craig Kimbrell to the White Sox. Price is steep. Several suitors. Stay tuned. Next 2.5 hours will get crazy. So. John Heyman, many teams on Kimbrell who should bring a haul. Nice to see the two Chicago teams. So that's the one thing. The Cubs and the White Sox, they don't care if they make deals with each other. All right. Here's from Jeff Passan. Here's a trade. The Milwaukee Brewers are finalizing a deal to acquire left-hander Daniel Norris from the Detroit Tigers. Interesting. I didn't think that the Tigers were going to start moving players. I thought they'd sort of hold on to their team a little bit and try to be a 500 team. I guess they don't see themselves as that. Yeah, DJ says Pazan bomb. That's, you don't normally get that from Pazan. From Mark Feinstein. There is some buzz about potential multi-team deals that one exec said would be pretty chaotic if they came to fruition. Thinking teams with multiple players to deal, such as the Cubs with Baez, Bryant, Kimbrell, and Davies, could try to orchestrate a multi-team trade to fill needs. Wow, that would not surprise me if we saw, a major trade of that ilk. Interesting. I'm gonna be reading a lot of tweets, but in the meanwhile, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. I'm going to mention this. I mentioned this a few times. After today, it's going to get very quiet here. So, it's going to get very quiet going through all the stuff. And I would point out that if you're interested in my sort of ability to sort of do what I do here, I would mention that I have other channels, in particular the Patriot Hut. I would ask Southern Cal Mets fan if he would put the link into the Patriot Hut, if he can, onto into the chat at this moment. I'm trying to get that channel monetized. So if you want to have some of my insanity over there, it's very different than it is here. If you want to because I'm going to be doing a lot of content there on that side over the next couple of months, especially next month and September. So please go over there and check that out. I'm trying to bring in as many subscribers as I can, bringing in from different content in there, just to get it monetized. I'm a little behind with it because December and January was a disaster in terms of me doing stuff on there. I didn't think it was gonna get. I was gonna hit. It's gonna get monetized. But anyway, I would ask you all to say a prayer. No, I'm not saying. It's gonna be interesting over the next 2.5 hours now, less than 2.5 hours, where the Mets go. I was kind of hearing before I came on that it was more Bryant to the Giants and Baez to the Mets. I'm leaning more towards Baez because you can play him everywhere. You can play him. He's more of an infielder. You can play him in third if you need him. You fill him in at shortstop, you automatic. And I would point out that I don't know if Mets make a trade with the Cubs, how quickly these players could get here. I would assume they won't be able to be here tonight. Coming soon, Albion Hut channel. He will be focusing on birds of the world. I'm not doing that. What do I speak about on Hector and Liza and Nicole? I want to know what I talk about over there. What do I talk about? What do I talk about? I still have the channel called the Comic Book Hut, and originally I was doing a lot of talking about comics and talking about the creators and. But over on the Patriot Hut, I started out doing politics on it, but it kind of didn't move the way I wanted it to. So I started talking about this comic book group called Comscape, and I sort of make fun of them a little bit and about their lack of professionalism and just insanity. And I just have a rip roaring time. I have a lot of fun there. I make fun of one creator. I do like a homeless report. He's not homeless, but I find I have a lot of fun over there. Making fun of the fact that their books are never on time. The books are mediocre, and basically that's it. It's just me just sort of goofing around. I'm trying to bring in different people. I know that the Comic Book Hut has brought in a lot of people onto that channel over the last month. But if I can bring people from other places and other sources, I would be appreciative of it. The Comic Book Hut is great, but I've sort of gone down the political route because one of my comic book buddies got kicked off of YouTube, so I started doing videos on him, and so many people have been coming in here looking for him that I just started doing it. So I was like, I'll just sort of do it for now. I'm very flexible now with the videos and the content. You can kind of maneuver it and direct it. It's weird. It's weird how YouTube is, but I do appreciate people going on there and just just subscribing for now. But that's where I'll be a lot next month. Now September is going to be different because I don't know where the Mets are going to be playing in terms of the standings, in terms of what the deal is. Are they going to be getting close to clinching? I don't know. But that's real old school, Nelson. That's old. That shows your age. From John Heyman. Phillies among 6 to 7 teams checking in on Byron Buxton. With the burial steal, things have heated up. Phillies love Buxton for center field. If only he could play. If only he could get on the field. From Randy Fernandez, reports are the Blue Jays and Rays are main contenders for Story. Huh? I think I did mention them on my sheet. That those are names I have picked up. Like I said, the Rockies have been very difficult to deal with because they got destroyed with this trade with the with Arenado and the Cardinals. Because it wasn't just that the Cardinals picked up Arenado; they didn't give them much in terms of prospects, and the Rockies picked up $50 million too. It's like being robbed and say, "All right, you can have my house too. You can have my house, and here's the rest of the money in my pocket." And it's basically, it's basically what the Rockies did. So the Rockies have been very well destroyed online and do their own fan base out in Colorado. But it's interesting. Now, please like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the Baseball Hut. Want to get a few more subs in here before we end this show today. Need 3 more subs. You get me 3 more subs, I'll get up to 1,440. 1,440 subscribers. Here's from DJ's Variety Channel. MLB Pipeline says the Rockies are in talks with a handful of teams on Story, including the Mets and Cardinals about 2 hours ago. That's right. The Cardinals sort of popped up. You imagine trading him to the Cardinals? Southern Cal Mets fan. Padres got played by Nats GM. My Padre friends are very pissed off. Oh, that is true. That is true. And obviously they were in on Barrios, but he's been traded to the Blue Jays. I wonder if they've gotten to a point of just breaking up that team in Minnesota, considering that they've not had a good season. And I guess maybe they consider just checking my feed here. This is about the Daniel Norris trade to the Brewers, but we're just gonna wait out the next hour, 2.5 hours here, and we'll see if see what transpires with the Mets. Yeah, we've got plenty of time. Remember, when the Mets made the deal for Cespedes, it was basically at the deadline. Mega Frankie 777. Atlanta got Eddie Rosario. We know all about that. Let's see. Just checking some stuff here. This is from Ben Verlander of Fox Sports MLB analyst. The Mets will be making a big move before the end of the day. Take that to the bank. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Don't mind the silence in between. Please like the video. From Randy, I really do hope that they make a move for Bryant, Baez, and Kimbrel. That's the move to make. Mets need starting pitching. Okay. I could use another starter in here, and you can get somebody else other than Kimbrel to help out the bullpen. There's plenty of bullpen arms out there. They're gonna get a couple. They have to get another starter in here, even before they get a positional player. Again, I would mention again Josh Harrison. His name has popped up over the last few hours, so keep him in mind over the next 2.5 hours. That he's going that the Nationals are basically stripping that team down. I would point out about the Nationals, they always have a good farm system, and they're able to sort of replenish their team very quickly. And that GM is very smart. So that trade, obviously, that he's supposedly made for um for Trey Turner and Scherzer, he got the two best prospects of the Dodgers, and the Dodgers always have a good farm system. The Dodgers always have a good farm system. They always produce players. The Cardinals always have a good farm system. They always produce players. The three teams you have to be careful with when it comes to making any kind of trades with, when it comes to their farm system and young players and any player, just are the A's, the Rays, and the Yankees. The Yankees never trade any of their good prospects away, ever. They never trade anybody away, ever. The Rays, you never hear anybody that turns into a star somewhere else. Never. And the A's, maybe Carlos Gonzalez. That was it. As far as I can remember over the last 30 years or 25 years, only Carlos Gonzalez has ever been considered a very good prospect and became a star with the Rockies. Yes, I mean, the Cespedes deal came at the very end of the trade deadline. It came really with 12 minutes left in the deadline, and then it was announced at 4 o'clock. So this could go out down to because you got to do paperwork and you got to submit it to the league. So a lot of times they submit it a few minutes before, and then it gets announced at 4 o'clock. Oh, you're right. I forgot about Josh Donaldson. So really, if you think about it, really three players with the A's, but with Cespedes, you see how kind of flaky he was here. So there's a reason why they moved him. But I would mention that in 2014 when the A's traded him to the Red Sox for Lester, that team collapsed. The A's collapsed. They didn't hit. You traded your best player for Lester. Lester left and he went to the Cubs. They completely destroyed themselves. Ron C. Blue Jays really went for it with Barrios. Well, they're trying to get in the postseason. I would. They are going to be playing in Toronto today, so they got a big push going into Canada tonight. Also, if you go into City Field, the Mets are going to be wearing their black jerseys tonight. So if you go into the ballpark, the Mets are asking fans to wear black. So and Carrasco's pitching tonight. So tonight, even though if they make a trade, don't make a trade, it's gonna be a very exciting night at Citi Field. Uh, what other things I can mention here? Mark Vientos. Uh, he is the Mets' eighth best prospect, according to MLB.com. I mentioned him last night. He is now in Binghamton. He's been playing in Binghamton most of the year, almost the whole year. The whole year. Been playing third. He's been playing a little bit in left field. He's hit 17 home runs in the last 128 games. He's the eighth player in the minor leagues to have 20 home runs. He's 21 years old. When the Mets drafted him in 2017, he was the youngest player in the draft, and he was a guy that considered one of the best bats in the minor leagues in terms of just in terms of power. He's considered to have the best power in the Mets farm system. His power is very closely compared to Pete Alonso. So him taking a big step forward has been a big deal here, at least with the Mets, because we've been talking a lot about Batty. We've been talking a lot about Mauricio and Alvarez. But Vientos has taken a major step forward. And I wonder if he's going to be dangled here in a deal. I don't think they want to move their top 10 players, And he's number 8. He might be now up in a different echelon. So, Mega Frankie 777 says, Mets have minor leaguers who are ready for the big leagues. That's right. Ron sees all of the kids are hitting. Yeah, they're all doing well. I know Mauricio was struggling a little bit, but he's gotten hot over the last couple weeks. But it's very good to see the farm system. The Mets have been very good with the farm system over the last few years. It's been sort of underrated. Really, the Sandy players have done a very good job. I mean, pretty much everybody that's on the field are Sandy guys. Tomas Nido, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo, Dom Smith, Michael Conforto. It's funny. All the position players that the Mets have are Sandy guys, and some of the big pitchers the Mets have are still kind of Omar to a certain degree. From Randy, which prospect is the closest to Major League Baseball ready? That's a good question. I would think because of where things stand, just looking at it in terms of just off the top of my head, probably Vientos, I would think. When you're talking about one of the big ones, I mean, he's probably the closest. And then probably Batty after that. Only reason is because Vientos is he's played more minor league games. He's played a full season in Double A. We're going to talk a lot about him, I would think, next spring training. There's going to be a lot of talk of teams wanting to get him. Let's see. So it's from John Heyman, Phillies Brewers among teams checking on Ian Kennedy. Everyone in contention needs relief. Let's see. Let me just check here. So this adds names to Kennedy. He's going to get moved, I think. I think I mentioned earlier that John Gray is not going to get moved. It's been talked about that he's not getting moved. Vientos Randy is a third baseman, but they've had him sort of playing left field too. Southern Cal Mets fan says Vientos won't be a Met after the deadline. Well, we'll see. We'll say that I can't be 100% sure of. I think JD Davis could be in trouble. I think JD Davis after he hit those home runs in Pittsburgh when he came back, he's really not done much. You know, he really has not done a whole hell of a lot. We're now a little over 2 hours before the trade deadline. So Barrios went for two prospects. That's all they got for him. What do you think they would have gotten a little bit more from the Blue Jays? They didn't give up a lot for a pitcher like that. You want at least 3 or 4 players for him. That's a little surprising. Just 2 players. Interesting. This is from Ken Rosenthal. Sources reports link number of teams to Kimbrel. The Dodgers kicking around, but unlikely. Atlanta checked in, also unlikely. Tampa Bay involved. Houston still looking for bullpen help, though Kimbrel or Iglesias might push them over threshold. The White Sox also mentioned recently acquired Tepera from the Cubs. Interesting. It's gonna be interesting where Kimbrel goes. We'll see where he goes. A lot of teams are going to be in on him. I know the Mets are in on him. And we'll keep an eye on this sort of rumored multiple team trade that's out there. We'll see. Interesting. Now, please like this video if you haven't already. Whew, let's get back to some names. I got some names I haven't read yet. Joey Gallo. Cross him off. He got traded to the Yankees. I said this last night. The Yankees have 3 of the 4 players in Major League Baseball that have struck out 200 times in a season. They have Joey Gallo now, Giancarlo Stanton, and Horseface. Horseface himself, Aaron Judge. That's a lot of strikeouts. Richard Rodriguez is mentioned. The Padres, the Giants, the Phillies, the Mariners, and the Blue Jays. We'll see where he goes. I wasn't too impressed with him. Rosario Iglesias, I haven't seen any names attached to him just yet. J.A. Happ, his name's been out there. I wouldn't touch him. Max Kepler was mentioned going to the Yankees yesterday, up until they picked up Rizzo. Trey Turner is probably gone, or likelihood. Andrew Chafin is gone. He went to the A's. Starling Marte is gone. He's gone to the A's as well. Merrill Kelly's still out there. From what I understand, Jonathan Shoup is not going to get traded, from what I heard. Cesar Hernandez. Cesar Hernandez went to the White Sox. Then he went to the White Sox. Daniel Bard's been talked about. I don't have a team attached to him. Ryan Tepera got traded to the White Sox. He was with the Cubs. Yimi Garcia, he was the Miami closer. He's gone to Houston. Hansel Robles is still out there. Brian Shaw the Mets had talked about him years ago. Signing, he went to the Indians. He's still out there. Adam Duvall went to the Braves. Jesus Aguilar, I heard, was not getting moved. David Peralta, I guess, of the D-backs, he's still out there. Keep an eye on Wilson Contreras. Maybe he goes. I haven't heard his name. John Means, I've heard he's not getting dealt. Tanner Scott could be moved. He's a lefty with the Orioles. Cole Sussler, another reliever with the Baltimore, and Dylan Tate, another reliever with the Baltimore Orioles. Scott Barlow with Kansas City, he's been mentioned. Bruce Greatsor of the Dodgers, he's been mentioned. The teams are interested in him, but he's had a bad year. Luke Voigt of the Yankees, he's been mentioned. He's probably going to get moved. He's got no place to play. Diego Castillo got traded to the Mariners. Danny Duffy got traded to the Dodgers. Yan Gomes is out there. He's with the Nationals. He's going to get moved. I've heard the Jays and I've heard Oakland. Alzavia of the Nats, he's still out there. Sean Armstrong of the Orioles, he got moved to the Rays. Daniel Norris just got traded. He's going from Detroit to Milwaukee. Milwaukee's going to get very uh, active. And Mike Minor of the Royals, he has been mentioned over the last little while. So names are starting to come off the board now. But the big names that are still out there, and I'll cross up Arios now. Um, I'm not crossing them off yet because it hasn't been announced. Max Scherzer and I know I crossed off Trey Turner, but he's going to be moved. I haven't crossed off. I crossed him off the hell. He's getting moved. And he's gone. But we have Trevor Story. We'll go through the big names now. Trevor Story, Chris Bryant, Javi Baez. Where are they going? Zach Davies, Kyle Gibson, and Craig Kimbrell. These are guys that are still sitting out there. Josh Donaldson could be moved, but the Twins are going to take a lot of money back if they want any kind of decent prospect. All right. It's from John Heyman. This is from John Heyman. Angels have made Rosario Iglesias available. Very good closer mark with Kimbrel, Kennedy, Iglesias, etc. From Andy Martino. Keep an eye on relief market for Mets over the next 2 hours. Joaquin Sawyer is one of many relievers they've had multiple conversations about. I've heard him too with the Mets. I'll put his name down. I got a new name down here. That's Michael Fomer. Michael Fomer of the which I can see him getting moved now since they moved Daniel Norris. Tigers have discussed Michael Fomer with other clubs today. Sources say Fomer was Detroit's closer early this season. Has 2 scoreless outings since returning from the injured list. I can see him come back to the Mets. You know, the Tigers are in a different spot. They got a really good manager. They've played rather well for him. They got a lot of energy there. All right. Here's from Joel Sherman. One executive said the asking price on Trevor Story has dropped and now feels more than less likely that the Rockies shortstop will be traded. 2 hours until the deadline. Real prices emerge. Okay. So he's going to be. I said he's going to be moved. But the Rockies are being very, very difficult to deal with because their self confidence is not there. You know, but their self esteem is not very good. We're now 1 hour and 59 minutes away from the deadline. This show has been going on for an hour. You've heard me ramble for almost an hour, except for the 5 minutes I was on the phone. So we're now an hour into this. So far, we haven't really had. I mean, I came on that the burial trade had just happened, so we haven't been on, live here with the big trade yet. It was on after the fact, but we'll see how these things shake out. But this is a lot of fun. I'm very excited about this. Joe Spina. Every significant team is making moves but us. Aha. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Calm down. Calm down. I would say this, that a lot of people were very upset that the Mets, quote unquote, weren't busy in the offseason. Well, you saw how busy they were. They were a first place team. The Mets are going to schedule. Mets is scheduling a press conference at 5:30. It's going to be on YouTube. Mets president Sandy Alderson and acting GM Zach Scott will address the media at 5:30 p.m. So they will probably discuss what kind of moves they've made or not made. Interesting. So that'll be interesting to watch. So if you guys, they don't make a move, if the Mets don't make a move, you can go there and air your grievances. And, go there and I'm going to get you. The air your grievances there. Now, please like the video if you haven't already. And subscribe to the Baseball Hut. Just checking my feed a little bit. Now, next year, and I know this is a ways away, I've learned a lot doing what I've been doing here with this particular channel. So when we do this next year, it's going to be even bigger. So here's from Anthony DeComo. There's a Met beat guy from MLB. Inside 2 hours ago, let me be clear about this. I find it exceedingly hard to believe the Mets will do nothing before the deadline. As a first place team that has played sub 500 ball for the last month and a half, they'll do something. The question is how big. Yeah. Oh, forget about it. That's going to be crazy. Southern Cal Mets fan says that live chat would be deadly if we make no moves. Well, we did make a move. We got Rich Hill. But, oh, boy. That will be ugly. If they don't make a move, Joel Sherman, what makes Rosario Iglesias so attractive in the market beyond the obvious elite stuff is the ability to work multiple innings. He's got at least 4 outs 12 times and has a 0.95 ERA in those games. Hold on, I need a drink. So, over the next couple of, really next 2 hours, really, things are going to be crazy. Ron C says if they don't make a move, guarantee the fans will scream fire Sandy tonight. Yeah, okay. If they do that, you need to calm your asses down. You know. And he's the president. He's like almost the owner. He's not going anywhere. Sandy's like the part owner. Ron C, the tension is building on Twitter. Who the hell cares about Twitter? You know, I couldn't care less. Let me check the feed. What's going on with my peeps on there? Let's take a look. Because I know they're very spastic. Met fans on Twitter are very very spastic. Every little thing bothers them. Strike Blitz says, wonder if Jose Ramirez could get moved if Cleveland gets a good offer. I don't think he's getting moved. I don't think he's getting moved. The only good thing I like about Twitter is that you learn about all these different trades and stuff. Here's from Michael Mayer from Metsmerized. I don't know if I like this. Mets have had conversations with the Twins about outfielder Byron Buxton. The guy's he's never on the field. He's never on the field, that guy. All right. From John Morrissey. The Blue Jays and Nats are discussing Yan Gomes as Bob Nightingale. Uh-oh. That means he's not going there. Bob Nightingale says that he's getting traded there. That's not happening. Bob Nightingale. He's always wrong. This guy doesn't know if he's going home or not, let alone know if what's trade's going to happen. Now, please like the video if you haven't already. Can we get one more subscriber? I need one more subscriber. We'll get to 1440 in terms of sub count. Aaron says, what did I miss? Not much. Got 2 more hours. We have 2 more hours. 2 more hours, and we'll find out who the Mets are going to be. What the Mets are going to make a trade. Matthew T. Anything yet? Not yet, Matthew. Be patient. Remember, the Mets brought in Cespedes at the last minute 6 years ago. Sandy is the kind of guy, he stares down these guys and he doesn't flinch. And as some Mets fans can be a little, a little emotional when it comes to this stuff. So we'll gotta sort of be chill about it. Be cool like Fonzie. I'm just checking here. Yeah, so the name that's popped up in the last little bit is Joaquin Soria, but I mentioned him a few times over the last few days. So Stony 814. Hud, I'm shocked Alderson didn't go after Chapman from Oakland just about now. Well, why would the A's trade this guy? He's not making any money, and they're in the hunt. They have one of they're first in the wild card. Why would they trade him? Why would the Mets? How would the Mets be able to get this guy? They're 12 game. The A's are 12 games over 500. He's one of their best players. Why would they trade him to the Mets? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, he's going to win another Gold Glove out there. He's not getting moved. And he's not really having a great offensive year, but they're not moving him, for under any circumstances. He's not getting moved. Who's going to play third base for them? They're 12 games over 500. That's not happening. It's fun to talk about in the offseason. You never know. But for in season, they're going to trade one of their best players? I don't think so. A lot of players have struggled this year offensively. He's the glue on that team. They're not going to move him in season. Unless there's a problem with him as a player, as an individual, he's not getting moved. I'd be shocked if that was going to happen. Be very surprised if that happened. I don't see that happening. So. All right. All right. Here's some of the arms here's some of the relievers that are out there. Some of them may not have mentioned. Anthony Baez, the Marlins. Steve Shishak of the Angels. Alex Colome, Minnesota. Greg Holland, Rosario Iglesias, Ian Kennedy, Greg Kimbrell, Hanso Robles. You want Hanso back? Brian Shaw. Here's the starters. Zach Davies. I don't know much interested in him. All right. Here's again from Michael Mayer from Mets Rush. Few relief options that the Mets have checked on. Joaquin Soria, Rosario Iglesias, and Michael Fomer. I could see Fomer coming back here. I don't think that's happening. I don't think that trade is happening. I'd be very shocked, to be honest with you. I just don't see it. Don't see it whatsoever. Please like this video if you haven't already. And I would mention this is a very different show than all the other shows you see on YouTube. It's not a lot of frills here, but I put a lot of work into this trade deadline. Let's see anything new from Bob Nightingale. Uh-oh. There will be a flurry. There will be such a flurry of trades made in the final hour and minutes of the 4 p.m. Eastern Time trade deadline today that teams will still be announcing moves at least 30 minutes afterwards. You know, I agree. That I do agree with. But he's usually wrong with everything. That's the only thing. He's usually wrong. He's always wrong. It's always wrong. But I'm already tired. I don't know about Joe. But again, there is no uh, um, August 31st trade deadline. Uh, so any trades that happened will be happening before 4 p.m. So we're now an hour and 46 minutes from the trade deadline. Uh, Southern Cal Mets fan wants Tyler Clippard back here. I'm sure he'll be moved. He always gets moved at the trade deadline. How many times is he still going to be? He gets traded at the deadline. It's amazing. He's still pitching. Was he with the Diamondbacks? He's with the Diamondbacks. But yeah, so we're under 2 hours now. I'm already worn out. Already worn out. And but I wonder how many more moves the Marlins are going to make because they already moved. They already moved a bunch of players. They moved Duvall and they moved Marte. Um, I wonder how, and they moved Garcia. I wonder how much more they're going to move. And the Nationals still have a whole bunch of players that are going to get moved. I think I sort of mentioned them: Josh Harrison, John Lester. They moved Brad Hand. Daniel Hudson was moved. Everybody but the kitchen sink is going to be moved, other than Juan Soto. Um, let's see here. Who else? I should have cleaned up my list before I came on. But like I said, every player on the Nationals is up for grabs except for Juan Soto. I guess they figured with Strasburg having gotten hurt that the possibility of you know the possibility of a just a tear down was possible, and they basically torn everything down. They tore the whole team apart. So you know it was bound to happen. I guess bound to happen. So you know. Just checking my strike blitz doesn't know what's going on. White Sox have been quiet too. I expect some moves there. They picked up a couple players yesterday. They picked up Cesar Hernandez of the Indians and Ryan Tepera of the Cubs. So they've been busy. They're probably looking for relief help now, more relief help, or another starter. Hub Abreu. Hello, Hut. Who do you think is definitely coming to the Mets? I'm gonna keep saying Chris Bryant. I think they'll make it. I think they'll make a trade with the Cubs. I think the Cubs really playing chicken with the Mets. I haven't heard any other team with Baez other than the Mets, and I guess a little bit with the Rays. Um, I think the Baez thing makes a lot of sense now. They can move him to second. He said he'll play second when Lindor comes back. I don't know what's happening with Trevor Story. Like I said, I think the Rockies are a little spooked. They're a little spooked when it comes to making any kind of deals now. Uh, I think that they sort of they burn themselves trading Arenado for nobody. So But like I said, I expect the Mets to do something, and if they didn't, I'd be shocked. So makes a lot of sense for them to make a big trade. They need another pitcher in here, need another starter in here. Um, they need some bullpen help. They could use another bat. Um, Josh Harrison is sort of looked upon as a fallback if they don't get Bryant. And he's played well for the Nationals. And he's a good clubhouse guy. He's not going to be disruptive. It's not going to be an issue with that. I know there's been a lot of talk of that over the last few hours with him, or just in general the whole thing with chemistry with the Mets and stuff like that. But we'll see. Hobby, boy, think Walker is falling into that old good half, bad half scenario. No, I think he's pitching to what he's done in the past, his average. And he has a lot more hits, and there's a lot more hits in there than outs. So, let's see. Get this. Well, that's a big trade. The Chicago White Sox are finalizing a deal to acquire closer Craig Kimbrell from the Chicago Cubs. So a strike blitz. They've made a deal. Huh? You didn't go to the National League East. John Morrissey. Twins trade talks on Byron Buxton are intensifying, sources say. No deals close yet. Multiple teams involved. Will be fascinating final 100 minutes before the deadline. Yeah. Wow. That's a big trade. Ken Rosenthal. Kimbrell to White Sox. Bob Nightingale. White Sox getting Cubs closer Craig Kimbrell. Mark Feinstein. The White Sox acquiring Craig Kimbrell from the Cubs. See, the Cubs and the White Sox, they don't care about making any trades. That's a big trade. So he's off the board. John Heyman. Kimbrell to the White Sox. So he's gone. So he's off the board. So now they're all going to be scrambling for the next good guy, the next good reliever. He's off. So Rosario Iglesias is probably the next guy going. Or he's gone. He's Chicago White Sox gone. He's off the board. Skadoosh. At least he doesn't have to go far. He stays in town. Stays in town. That's a good bullpen. And I guess that manager out there knows what he's doing. I like how the media was trying to bully Tony La Russa to get out of there, and he stuck it to them, didn't he? By winning. Interesting. Bob Nightingale, the White Sox were looking for a big bullpen upgrade and don't mess around with Craig Kimbrell. They began exchanging names this morning. I did say that the Mets, the White Sox were going to be in the World Series. So I've been right about that so far. They're going to be tough to beat. And they got a great manager. They're going to be tough to beat. Houston's going to have a tough time with them. The Red Sox are going to have a tough time with them. Stoney 814. Who's the next closer you could trade for since Kimbrell's going to the White Sox? Rosario Iglesias. So all the teams that lost out on Kimbrell, they're going to be on him now, and that includes the Mets. And the Mets have asked about him. So that's right. Let's put the names down because there were no names attached to this guy. The Rays, the Braves, the Dodgers, the Jays, the Phillies, the Mets, San Diego, and the Boston Red Sox. So we have a whole bunch of names now attached to him now. So he's going to be the next big closer to go, and probably after that, Soria. But the Mets have been talking about Soria. I think the Mets are going to get a reliever in here. Let's see. From Ken Rosenthal, the White Sox plan to give both Kimbrel and Hendricks save opportunities. With short season last year, they believe this move will help them protect both their starters and relievers. Yeah, it's true. It's very true. From Mark Feinsand. So the White Sox, who spent to sign Liam Hendricks as a free agent this winter, have now supplanted their bullpen with Craig Kimbrel and Ryan Tepper, two former Cubs this week. The White Sox have a very impressive bullpen group. They're going to be tough. You get a big bullpen, you're going to be tough to beat. That's for damn sure. They're going to be tough to beat going forward. Very, very difficult team to go up against. Now, please like this video if you haven't already. And if you're coming through for the first time, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. And we're going to be on for quite a while still. We got an hour and 35 minutes until the trade deadline. So, Hobart Brady wants to know if Trevor Bauer's coming back this season. I wouldn't expect it. He's probably done. He's probably done with. He's done. That's that. He's gone. I can't imagine him being. They're probably gonna. He's gonna be on the ineligible list for the rest of the season. He should have been put in jail. He should have been arrested. You know. Very, very troubling. Very troubling. Very, very troubling stuff. You know, tough. I said he was a weirdo. That's right. That's good news. That's exciting news right here. From Todd Licata, what do you think of Braves moves? Those guys aren't having great years. No, but they've seen that the Mets should have done a lot better in this series that they played against them. If the Mets had won 3 out of 5, they might not have made these trades today. You know. And, you know, that's the thing, Acuna getting hurt put them in a position where they were probably going to start moving players off the Braves. But they played the Mets this week, and the Mets really didn't hit. And Eichhoff, like Todd is saying, Eichhoff gave them nothing. The Mets got nothing out of Eichhoff. He was a disaster. They mailed it in, that game. And you're right, Todd. That gave them hope. Oh, so the Cubs are getting this. This is actually pretty big trade. They get Nick Madrigal. I think he's hurt. And Cody Hewer. So Nick Madrigal's a pretty big player, but I think he's hurt though. I think he's been injured. Let me take a peek at him. I think he's been out most of the season. Wow, that's a big trade. Boy, they got a lot for him. Wow, that's a big trade. Boy, the White Sox gave up a lot, but the White Sox have a good farm system too. Wow, they got a lot. The Cubs got a lot for him. Wow. So you can see why they're really pushing the Mets to get a big player for Bryant or Baez. Wow. But Kimbrel's probably a Hall of Famer at this point. So the Cubs picked up Nick Madrigal. He's hurt right now. I think he's getting close to coming back. I would assume that Cesar Hernandez is going to be the second baseman on the White Sox. Won't be surprised the White Sox do another move. I could see them picking up Josh Harrison. I could see that happening. That is a big trade for the Cubs. That is a big get for them. Wow. Because they didn't really get much from the Yankees. Anytime the Yankees make I think it said this. Whenever the Yankees make a trade, they never give up anybody good. They never give up anybody good. From Stoney 814. What I think is the Mets are waiting to see who goes off the board, weighing their options right now, and going to make a huge trade at Cespedes time. Hope that's what's going to happen. Well, we're getting now an hour and 30 minutes away. So we're getting an hour and a half now. I'll be on until probably around 4:30, and hopefully they'll have a trade before then. I think this is basically a game of chicken right now between the Mets and the Cubs specifically, and the Rockies. And since the Cubs picked up this kid, the second baseman from the White Sox, they're really going to be pushing to get players like, say, Alvarez, and the Mets can't do that. The Mets catching has been good this year. They can't give up a big prospect like him. Let's see anything new. Let's see here. Let's see. It's SNY is saying that Francisco Lindor, who's close with Steve Cohen, they're friends. They've become friends. I guess when you give him that much money, I guess you got to become friends, I suppose. He's a big supporter of Javi Baez. So I don't think that would be an issue. This is from Andy Martino. Keep an eye on relief market for Mets over the next 2 hours. Joakim Soria is one of many relievers that had multiple conversations about. All right, it's from Mark Feinstein. Per a source, the Twins are shopping both Josh Donaldson and Byron Buxton. There are 90 minutes to go into the trade deadline. Well, you figured Donaldson, so maybe we could see Donaldson here. That's a possibility too, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to pick up from him. Let me check on the money with him because he's got a lot of money coming to him. Let me check out the money. He's got a lot of money coming on his contract. Now, please like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the Baseball Hut. Let him go down there. He's never healthy. Let Buxton go down there. The guy can't stay on the field. If a guy can't stay on the field, he's not a player I want on my team. Very simple. Oh, come on. This phone, I tell you, I have one of the crappiest phones imaginable. It's so slow. All right, here we go. So, all right, let me take a peek at this. So Josh Donaldson is making $21.75 million. It's a lot of money. And then over the next 2 years after, he's making $43.5 million. and he's got a team option. $43 million for a guy who's going to be 36 years old next year. I don't know. Where's he going to go? That is a guy that DJ's Variety Channel. What about Jacob DeGrom? He keeps getting hurt. Oh, he's throwing too hard. Jake is throwing too hard. He just throws too hard. That's why he's having all these injuries. He's just throwing too damn hard for his arm and for his body. Yeah, they're all confirming this Kimbrel deal. All confirming Kimbrel's deal. Don't mind me. I'm just going through my my feed here. I tell you, the Cubs got a lot for him. They got a lot for Kimbrel. I tell you. But like I said, Kimbrel's probably a Hall of Famer. He's getting awfully close to being one. But interesting. Very interesting day today. Everybody having fun? I'm having fun. I don't know if you're having fun. I'm having fun doing this. I don't know about you. Talk about this stuff is awesome. I hope you're all having fun. This is the best part about sports. And this is fun to go through all this. And we're going to be on till at least 4:30, I think. I hope. Now, please like this video if you haven't already. Mara Hammond wants to know, do you think Jock Peterson would be traded again? Nah, I don't think so. He's not going anywhere. What, from the Braves? Nah. I doubt it. I think Peterson's probably staying. I can't imagine him getting moved again. It's from Tim Healy. It's about Francisco Lindor is on the field playing catch as the first baseball activity I've seen from him since he strained his right oblique 2 weeks ago. He was running around on the field with some kind of like man's ear or something. Saw pictures of him running around with a man's ear on. I don't know what the hell that was all about. They said it was a heart monitor, but it looked like a man's ear. Hector and Liza Nicola say they haven't. Hell yes, performative. Thanks. I'm Stony 14. I'm having fun even if we didn't make a trade yet. What the hell? Oh, well, at least we were in first place. All that matters. That's right. It's all that matters. It doesn't matter, but that matters. Being in first is all that matters. So. I hear some Mark Feinstein. I'll tell you. The Rockies, they're being bitches. I'll tell you. I'm hearing Rockies are holding firm to their asking price for Story. Given the heat they took for the return on Arenado, trade Story for peanuts would be a bad look. Interim GM Billy Schmidt is a draft guy, so the comp picks are probably appealing to him if deals aren't there. Oh well, let them hold on to him. Who cares? That doesn't surprise me. I've been hearing that all morning today about the Rockies. But the Rockies being a real pain in the ass to deal with. That the teams have been complaining about them because their self esteem's all shot. And where's Luke Voigt going? They're talking about him on MLB Network. Wonder where he's going. I could see him going to a National League team. Todd the Cod. Well, Mets have 11 games left versus the Nats, who might now be the second worst team in the National League. Not yet. They're getting awfully close. They're going to be awfully close. They're going to really collapse. I mean, the only thing they have going for them is Soto. And that could be pretty much it. We'll see. But they're not even done dealing. I mean, they're gonna move other players off that team. Donald Harrison's probably gonna be gone. Possibly Lester could be gone. Jan Gomes is probably gonna get traded. Alex Avila's probably gonna get moved. They have some pieces still to move. Oh, okay. Here we go. Ken Rosenthal. Mets in discussions with the Cubs on Javi Baez. Possibly more. Sources tell me, and Jason Stark. Yeah, I mean, he is be honest with you, a better fit for the Mets at this point than Bryant is. There you go. So hopefully we'll get Baez here. I have no problem with that. So I'll read it again. Mets. This is from Ken Rosenthal, the Munchkin, the bow-tied Munchkin. Mets in discussions with Cubs on Javi Baez, possibly more. Sources tell me and Jason Stark. From Joel Sherman. Mets making movement toward Javi Baez, maybe a pitcher in the deal too. Excellent. Very good. Very, very good. This is good news and good stuff. Don't you think? I think. This is good news to see. I hope we'll have something resolved here very quickly. And this is a big move, believe me. This guy is a good player. He's a good player. And the Mets would be you can't walk away from a good player. I know he doesn't have an high on base guy. He's not a high on base guy. I know he strikes out a lot, but he has a lot. And now Mark finds he does cold water. He's dope. I'll tell you, some of the media guys, they go back and forth. He says very little noise regarding Bryant and Baez, but now that Kimbrel has been moved, the Cubs have 80 minutes to make something happen with one of both. Yeah, the Mets are going to get a position player and a pitcher. They're probably going to get Davies and Baez, I would think. It's going to be interesting if they bring in Baez, what number he's going to wear for the Mets, because he wears number 9 with the Cubs, and Brandon Nimmo wears number 9. But we will see. We got another hour and 18 minutes. And the fact that it's been discussed is probably going to be happening pretty quickly, because the Mets still need some pieces here. So they still need bullpen help. They need, we'll see. From Explosive D, the Nats are a division team regardless who's not on the team. They always play the Mets stuff. Absolutely right. And they have a good manager. They have a solid manager. So that's the one thing you can say, is that they have a very good manager, and Davey Martinez. Please like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe. We're getting a little movement now with the Mets. It seems like they're going to hopefully make a trade for Javi Baez, and which makes a lot of sense for them, to be honest with you. And Hopefully, we'll have something very quickly. Please like the video again and subscribe. I don't know if I was able to be the first to have this with Baez, but uh, so we'll see. We'll see what happens here. This is very exciting. You gotta love baseball. How can you not love baseball? Let's see. My phone's refreshing. Why? From Ken Rosendahl, can repeat what Joel Sherman just said. Teams making progress on a deal. This is what this is from about the Baez to the Mets. Yeah. So again, Joel Sherman saying this. Mets making movement toward Javi Baez, maybe a pitcher in the deal too. So. From Andy Martino, latest on Mets and Baez, closer than yesterday per source. Not an agreement just yet. When you start recommends him to the owner, it's a pretty good sign, though. From John Heyman, Twins are now listed on Kenta Mahita. From MLB Pipeline, the Mets are reportedly discussing acquiring Javi Baez from the Cubs. And then they say, here's what they have to offer in terms of prospects. It's gonna be, I don't know who they're gonna trade in a deal like that. That's that is something that's gonna be interesting. Who the Mets deal for Baez, because if they get a pitcher, they're gonna have to give up somebody. But maybe they won't have to. I was sort of mentioned this, that I thought that Jeff. I said this last night about Jeff McNeil. It wouldn't surprise me if the Mets had decided to move Jeff, because they didn't play him yesterday. They sat him. Now, since they got Madrigal, I would assume that they're not interested. I kind of figured they were interested in a second baseman. Just over, it's just sort of my common sense and just thinking about this. But I guess with him getting traded to that big trade with the White Sox, I don't think now that McNeil would be going to the Cubs. We'll see what happens with J.D. Davis if he gets moved. I know his name's been talked about a lot over the last really few months since the offseason. So it's going to be interesting what's going to happen going forward. Let me go check my phone again. All right. It's from Howie Rose. Love Howie. I have no idea if the Mets will make a move today or not, but understand that Sandy Alderson is nothing if not measured and circumspect. My gut feeling is if they do make a deal, we won't hear about it until 3:55 or later. It's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Howie's always right. Yeah, I mean, Martino is scum. He really is scum. But you won't hear about this until right as for 3:59 and 59 seconds. So the White Sox announced the Cubs trade. That's a big trade. That's a big trade. Wow. Now I would ask you, and this is since we're kind of, I know we're all excited and stuff about this. I'd ask you to sort of subscribe to the comic book hut, if you will. If it's not too much trouble. For some of you, because I'm gonna be doing a lot of content on there. It's political on there. I don't want politics on this channel, but I'll do politics on that channel. So I'm gonna put the link into the chat in the meanwhile. For the comic book hut, it's very important that I move this channel and make some money out of it. I spent a lot of money on stupid comic books over the last few years, and I'm in the red. I'm not in the black with this channel. I'm in the red. So if you go and you hit the link on the bottom in the chat, Please subscribe to it. Trying to get to 1,600 subscribers. So that's kind of important to me. So if you go on there and subscribe, even if you don't watch, I wanted to get over 1,600. So it's a channel that sort of has come out of nowhere. It's come to life all of a sudden. So I would appreciate if you go in there and check it out. I do have some interviews there with people that I've conducted, and they're great interviews. The best, the best. Well, let's see. With an hour and 11 minutes. All right. Here's from John Heyman. Baez is a better fit for Mets than Bryant because he can fill in at shortstop for Lindor for now, and prospect cost is less. The teams that continue to talk, as Joel Sherman one reported. Okay. Anthony DeComo. Mets GM Zach Scott just came out to the field to have a one-on-one conversation with Francisco Lindor. Lasted a few minutes, and then Scott went back inside. Oh. Interesting. From Tim Healy, Zach Scott just called Francisco Lindor over across the field. They talked for a couple of minutes. That's honestly all I could tell you at the moment. Two people talked. It's from Aaron. Kenta Mahida might get traded to the Mets. Where's your source? No speculation here. Here's from Andy Martino. Mets have a deal for Baez. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, ding. Mets have a deal. Mets have a trade, folks. Mets have a trade. There we go. There we go. There's your trade. Mets now have a trade. That's a great trade. Yeah. Mets needed to make this trade. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Very good. Ding, 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 ding. Calm down, Aaron. They just picked up. It's not good enough. Ding, 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 ding. From Mark Feinsand, is a little confirmation. Let's have a deal in place pending medicals to acquire Javi Baez from the Cubs. Jeff Bassan. The New York Mets are finalizing a trade to acquire shortstop Javi Baez from the Cubs. Bob Nightingale. The Mets have just acquired Cubs shortstop Javi Baez. Mets are talking about adding a pitcher from the Cubs in addition to Javi Baez, either Zach Davies or Trevor Williams. Deal is not close at this moment. From Jeff Pazan again, the Oakland A's are in agreement on a deal to acquire infielder Josh Harrison and catcher Yan Gomes from the White Sox, from the Washington Nationals. And John Morrissey, big news from Feinstein on the trade deadline. Mets have a deal in place pending medicals to acquire Javi Baez. Excellent. That's a big trade, boy. That's a big deal. I wonder if he can get here in time to play for the Mets tonight. He's going to have to rush to get here. Trevor Williams. Let's take a peek at Trevor Williams. I don't even know anything about him. Let's take a peek. Some players you don't pay attention to. Trevor Williams was supposed to pitch tonight for the Cubs. He's a right-hander. He's 4-2. ERA of 5.06. He's been with the Pirates and now he's been with the Cubs this year. An ERA of 58 and 2/3 innings. 61 strikeouts. I don't know. I'd rather have Davies. What a big trade. All right, there's some more stuff here. From John Heyman, Baez goes to Mets pending physicals. From John Morrissey, the San Francisco Giants and Chris Bryant are one parent to watch in the next hour after the reporter finds him that Javi Baez is headed to the Mets. I would point out about Javi Baez, everybody strikes out. I just sent somebody off to the fan zone. You know, don't rain on our parade. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. All right. We have a trade. Now get off my back. Get off my back. Get off my back. And they still kind of need a reliever too. So they're not finished yet. Mets are not finished by a long shot. So Baez has been he's been to the World Series, and he has had big moments. He was the MVP of the National League Championship Series in 2016. So this guy's had big moments playing. So that should not be forgotten. That should be noted. This is a big trade for the Mets. See what else is going on. I told you the Mets needed another shortstop. This was a team that was in desperate need to acquire somebody that was going to keep the seat warm until Lindor came back. He's got big power. He's probably going to hit 35 home runs this year. He's probably driving pretty close to 100 runs. Mets need another bat in this line. This was a team that was in desperate need for another bat. And I'm glad they pulled this off today. This has been very difficult to watch this offense. Now I'd like to see them. Obviously they need a starter in here. I think there's going to be another player involved in this deal coming the Mets' way. It'll be interesting to see who they. Oh, here we go. For Bob Nightingale, Mets are also receiving Trevor Williams from the Cubs in the Javi Baez trade. So let me go and take a peek at him as well on the side here. So Davies did not come here. So the Mets. I wonder what the Mets gave up. Trevor Williams. He's 35 and 39. They just want another guy at the back end of this rotation. So he's pitched a lot of innings over the last few years. 150, 170, 145. So he's been a regular starter. Pitched any big games? No. But see his free agency. He is up for arbitration this year, so he has another year on his contract. From Ron C, buy a strikeout machine. Well, there's a lot of strikeout machines. It's prevalent in the game. But just forget about that. I'm not worried about that. So Trevor Williams is part of this deal. He is 29 years old. So I would assume he'll be in this rotation next year. We'll see. He won 14 games in 2018, so he's had some success. But he's not pitched well since 2018. Interesting. He's given up a lot of hits. A lot of hits the last few years. So we'll have to keep an eye on him when he gets here. But obviously they wanted to fill up the back end of the rotation. So let's see. So I'm going to assume, we're going to see who they gave up in this deal. We're going to see who the Mets give up in this deal because he's a rental. Okay. Obviously, they've targeted him, the Cubs in particular, that they weren't going to sign him. And I wonder who's getting traded. I wonder who's going in this deal because Trevor Williams is not a big pitcher. Very good. Well, Stoney 814. Is this Williams a pitcher? Then yes, he's a starter. He has been starting. I think he's sort of like a fifth starter. Mets just need a pitcher in here that's to help out. That's from Howie Rose because he's at the ballpark. Lindor just let out loose with a primal scream on the field. Guess they really are getting Baez. But the thing about Baez, they could play him at shortstop. That's a big deal. Being able to play shortstop is a big deal. So that's great, and he'll play there at short for the next month. Like I said, you gotta have an everyday shortstop if you're gonna win. And this team did not have a shortstop since Lindor went down. Have they missed Lindor? I don't know. Southern Cal Mets fan asks, Huck, can you put Trevor Williams' stats on the screen? Okay. It's going to take forever to freaking upload. SNY, breaking news. Anthony Martino reports Mets have a deal in place to acquire shortstop Javi Baez and Trevor Williams from the Cubs pending a medical review. That's just the scroll on the bottom. And what a big move the Mets made. That's a big move. Big move. So we got one more hour until the trading deadline. I'm going to let this upload. Let this come up. But please subscribe to the channel. We're 2 hours into the trade deadline. And the Mets have made a trade. They've acquired from the Cubs Javi Baez and Trevor Williams. It's not the Trevor you wanted. He is from Ken Rosenthal. Oh, boy. The Phillies close to acquiring right-handed pitchers Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy. So that's a big trade. That's very that's a big trade. And another hour. That's right, another hour. They still need bullpen help. I didn't even have Trevor Williams on here, but I was telling you the Cubs are really gutting that team out. They're probably gonna just because they don't have any big prospects that are playing. They were a veteran team, so I would assume. I would assume that they're going to go young after this season. What's Kyle Gibson? So the one team that was mentioned with Gibson and Ian Kennedy are gone. So are going to the Phillies. So at least some of the sources have been pretty good. From Disha, covers the Mets for the Daily News. Source confirms Mets and Baez are heading toward a deal. Well, that's nice, Disha. Like a half hour later. And she also says Francisco Lindor and Edwin Diaz and others are hugging and shouting and laughing at Citi Field. So I'm going to pull up the thing about Trevor Williams because nobody really knows anything about him. I don't either. I don't know if the Mets have gone up against him. Now, I would point out with the Mets getting Baez, they're playing the Reds this weekend. And it was a big fight, a big kerfluffle at the end of the Met game, end of the Cubs game with the Reds the other night between Amir Garrett, the closer of the Reds, and the Cubs, and Baez. Baez is a high energy guy, very high strung player. He's really good though. So. Explosive D, we get Bryant, that would be amazing. He's not coming here. That ship has sailed, I would think. My computer's frozen a little bit. Let's see. Now, please like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the Baseball Hut. All right. Here's Trevor Williams. If you can get him up. As my computer is basically shut down. All right. Let's see. From Wayne Randazzo. Baez is going to be a big shot in the arm for this team. There's a low intensity in his game that will shine on the stage at these points in the season, right? That's why he's a big player for this team. Big player. John Gray is not going anywhere from what I understand. All right, here's Trevor Williams. I'll pull up his numbers a little bit. All right, he's 29 years old. He's 4-2. He's got 4-2 record. 13 games, 12 game starts. He's got an ERA of 5.06. Pitched 58 in the 2/3 innings. He's 35 and 39 in his career, an ERA over almost 4.5. He's not pitched well since 2018, when he was 14 and 10. So he hasn't pitched well in a while. He's got another year on his contract. I would assume that I don't know what to assume. He doesn't seem like he walks a lot of batters. He's not a high strikeout guy. Oh, well, thank you. Ding, 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 ding. Thank you, Joey. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ding, ding, ding. Thank you. So you have Trevor Williams. He's part of this trade with the Mets and Baez, and we have 55 minutes, and we still don't know what else is coming down the line. So, oh wow, it's a big trade. The Mets are sending Pete Crow Armstrong to the Cubs. Wow, I was not expecting that. Wow. That's a big price to pay. Wow. But he was a Brody guy. He's not a Sandy guy. Wow. I wonder if that's it, if they sent anything. Boy, the Cubs have really improved their really have improved this team. They've really gotten very young, and they brought in some big players. Wow. Some big young players on that team. Wow. Again from Bob Nightingale. Pete Crow Armstrong headed to the Cubs was the Mets' 5th best prospect. Wow. And he's been hurt. I would mention that. He's hurt. So, Pat Cole says, good riddance. PCA, no one likes you. From Southern Cal Mets. Casper is gone. Oh, this is a weird trade. From Robert Murray. Minnesota Twins are in agreement on a deal to acquire John Gant, former Met prospect, from the St. Louis Cardinals, according to sources familiar with the situation. That's a weird trade. That's a very strange trade for the Twins. Why are they doing that? I think they would be like getting rid of people. Let me take a look at them real quick. Thank you, Joey, for the nice super chat. It's very nice of you. I appreciate that. Helps out a lot here. So they picked up John Gant. That means somebody might be going off of that roster with the Twins. Guy like a Tyler Duffy, maybe Hansel Robles might be going. That's a strange trade. What a weird trade. And again, 52 minutes until the trade deadline. From Shop 33. That makes this a bad move in my opinion. Pete Crow Armstrong is a damn good outfielder, but nobody knows if he can hit. He's a defensive player. But can this guy hit? You don't know that. Okay? You don't know if he can hit. I don't know if he could hit. I don't think he can hit. Okay? He reminds me of Jason Tyner. When they were talking about him, when they drafted him, I thought it was a mistake when the Mets drafted him last year. And he's a Brody guy. Anybody that's a Brody guy, you take with a bit of skepticism. Okay? That makes me nervous. Okay? Any player with that's been brought in here by Brody, I'm very nervous about. Okay? And Pete Crow Armstrong made me nervous because I felt that first of all, his parents are actors. He's very woke. I didn't like him. He just rubbed me the wrong way. Now, as you know, Trevor Bauer rubbed me the wrong way. Pete Crow Armstrong rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm not a big fan of PCA. And PCA, he had the injury, so I doubt he'll fail the physical. They'll just look at the medicals and stuff. I don't know how that works, but all right. I'm Southern Cal Mets fan. I think Conforto's gone next year. Let's just hope he breaks out of his funk right now. This is my prediction on Michael Conforto. Michael Conforto, he's having a bad year, but I could see the Mets giving him a qualifying offer to get his value back up for next year. Okay, since the Mets didn't pick up Chris Bryant. Because Chris Bryant, if he came in here, I could sort of see, I can let Conforto go. I could put Chris Bryant in right field and be a part-time right fielder, part of his playing time. I can kind of get away with saying I'm going to sign Chris Bryant, and he could be my partial right fielder here going forward. But I don't think Michael's gone next year. I think that, I think that Michael, like I said, Michael's probably going to get a qualifying offer. I think Syndergaard's going to get a qualifying offer, and I think both of them will take it. They'd be silly not to do it. They'll make a lot more money than they would otherwise. Nelson Cruz says Lenny Dykstra Part 2. First of all, Lenny's a different kind of cat than this kid is. All right? Lenny had a mean streak in him. Okay? Pete Crow Armstrong does not come across as somebody that has a mean streak in him. For John Heyman, J.A. Happ goes to the Cardinals for John Gant. All right. So I guess the Cardinals are saying they kind of need a little help with their pitching. So he's going to the Cardinals. But I wonder if Gant will get moved. Because he is a reliever. He's a very good reliever. I wouldn't mind if the Mets picked him up. But, again, keep an eye on the Mets with the bullpen. The Mets with the bullpen. They still had not picked up a bullpen arm. So, let me check my my connection here. So we have 48 minutes until the trade deadline. The Mets have already made a big move. They made the trade for Javi Baez. And in this trade, they've also picked up a starter / pitcher in Trevor Williams, starter, reliever, whatever. And they've given up Pete Crow Armstrong. Now, this is coming from Marcus Stroman. Sheesh, this is from his Twitter. This bleep is exciting. I hope my Puerto Rican brothers can forgive me for the WBC in 2017. I love you all and can't wait to feel that energy you all bring. He's a high energy player. We'll see if he gets here before the game starts. I'd love to see him play tonight. I don't know, 3.5 hours before game time. He might not make it he better head out here pretty quickly. This is from Colton Wong. This trade deadline might be one of the craziest I've seen. Constantly hitting refresh to see what's next. Yeah, That's the best part about Twitter is this. Everything else about Twitter is horrendous. But when it comes to these trades, and today, it's just great. All right, this is from John Haim. This is the deal. Baez and Trevor Williams come for Pete Crow Armstrong. Okay. From Michael Mayer from Mesmerized. Javi Baez has a career 882 OPS versus left-handed pitching. Big boost for the Mets. The Mets have struggled against against lefties. He's really going to help them with that. So I kind of figured they were going to get a right-handed bat because they really needed somebody, and they got it. It's from John Harper. Baez will be fun to watch as a Met. Will give them spectacular middle infield defense when Lindor comes back. He'll hit some big home runs too, but doesn't necessarily solve offense inconsistency. Has 131 strikeouts, most in the National League. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Uh, that's the thing. You know, that's the thing. That's the one thing. He does strike out a lot, and his on base is not very high. But if you're giving up a prospect that hasn't played this year, and they just drafted him last year, was he 19 years old? You do it. With some questions about his personality and some questions about his bat. You do that. So now I'm going to do something because I'm having a bit of an issue here with the charge on my computer. So what I'm going to do, you have to bear with me, is I'm going to switch connections from my card to my phone. So hopefully you won't have like a problem here. I'm going to switch over to this other connection. So just give me 1 second. So if I seem like I'm muting out, I'm not muting out. I'm just switching over to this other connection. Hold on a second. What's the connection? Okay, here we go. I'm back. Hi, how are you? I'm back. Very good. So, and in fact, you know what? I'm going to take a bit of a break for a second. Let me use the bathroom, and I'll be back in 2 shakes of a Shakespeare. So the Mets have made this big trade today. Mets made this big trade. They got Javi Baez for and Trevor Williams for the Mets prospect Pete Crow Armstrong, and I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's out of here. So just give me a second, and I'll be back in 2 shakes of a Shakespeare. Let me just stretch my legs out. Hold on. Back in a minute. Please like the video. In the All right, I'm back. Sometimes you got to take a break. Been going for 2.5 hours here, but obviously the Mets have made a big trade. They traded for Javi Baez, and a pitcher Trevor Williams, and the Mets gave up Pecro Armstrong. Uh, see, John Heyman, Ian Canning, Kyle Gibson go to the Phillies. So I'm assuming Ian Canning's going to be their closer. This might be the best double play combination the Mets have had since Ordonez and Alfonso. From John Heyman again, Scherzer Turner mega deal is getting done. The details are being worked out, and they will be on their way for the 4 prospects. I wonder if Baez is going to be here before the game starts tonight. It's a good. I don't know. We'll have to see. That is a big trade for the Mets. They really done good today. I was not a big fan, as you know. I complain a lot about Pete Armstrong. Everybody was on me about it, but I know I'm going to be right about him, just like I was right about Trevor Bauer. But we'll see what happens. So the next couple of days, we're going to see Baez pretty good. Mark Feinsand. The Giants have been quiet today, but they remain engaged with the Rockies on Trevor's story, per source. It remains to be seen whether the Giants meet the Rockies' asking price or if the Rockies' asking price comes down the next 40 minutes. So let's see who's left on this list. FB says the Cubs are in Pittsburgh. No, the Cubs are in Washington. They're in Washington. They're not in Pittsburgh. The Cubs are in Washington. They're playing the Nationals. Well, I talk about 2 teams that have been gutted. Okay. Let's cross off Baez's name on this list. He's gone. He's going to the Mets. We have Trevor Story. He hasn't been moved. So I can sort of eliminate the Mets off of this list. So who remains? Well, I think the A's are off of this list. They picked up Josh Harrison. So he's off the list. The Brewers, I'll take them off because they picked up Escobar yesterday. So we got the Jays, the Cardinals, the Giants, and the Rays. According to Feinstein, the Giants are engaged. Chris Bryant, he's off the board for the Mets, but he's still with the Cubs. So I think the Rays, the Giants, the Phillies, and the Jays are still there for a deal with Chris Bryant. Let's see who else. I would say this too. Pecro Armstrong really only played a little bit this year for the Mets, and he did not play for them last year. They drafted him last year, so essentially the Cubs are picking up somebody that's not played in 2 years. I mentioned him. Andrelton Simmons is still out there as a shortstop. I could cross off Kyle Gibson. He's going to the Phillies. He's off the board. Ian Kennedy's off the board. Zach Davies is still out there. So I can eliminate the Mets off of this list. The Giants, the Rays, and the Mariners are on that. Schwarber Cabrera is still out there. We'll see if he gets moved. Joakim Soria, who the Mets have been talking about today. The Mets have been talking about him a little bit with how many minutes left? With 38 minutes to go? He's still there. Josh Harrison, you take him off. He's going to the A's. I think. He's going to the A's. John Lester's still there. Eric Hosmer, we haven't heard anything about him so far. I don't think he's getting moved. Not with that contract. All right. From Ken Rosenthal. Coming to the Nationals from the A's for Gomes and Harrison per source. Drew Millis, Seth Schumann, and Richard Gosh. I will say this, the A's never give up anybody good. Very rarely. Very, very rarely. Josh Donaldson's still out there. I can eliminate the Mets off of this. Kenta Mahida's still out there. Michael Pineda's still out there. He's been connected to the Jays. But I would eliminate the Phillies since they picked up Gibson. So it's the Jays and the Mariners. User one says Kumar for Buxton. The Twins need up and coming pitching. And here's the thing about Kumar: they've not officially announced that he's been signed. He's not in the Mets organization yet. There's a problem with his arm. FB says, Hut, we need another arm. Oh, yeah, they're going to get another bullpen arm. Keep an eye on Soria. Keep an eye on the bullpen. And I wouldn't mind if they got another bench guy, too. Let them have a good bench. I could see them. I'd like to see them get somebody else. From Tim Healy. Luis Rojas says this on Javi Baez. I'm a huge fan of what he does as an offensive player, as a defensive player, as a base runner, everything that he does on the field. He's a very exciting player. He is. He's a high-energy guy. I'm going to eliminate Jose Ramirez from this list because I haven't heard anything. Chris Stratton is a reliever. He's still out there. He's with the Pirates. Paul Fry is with the Baltimore Orioles. He's still out there. Richard Rodriguez with the Pirates. He's still out there. Many teams are attached to him. The Padres, the Phillies. I would say that I would eliminate the Phillies from the deal for him. Jays, the A's, and the Mariners. Rosario Iglesias. Several teams attached to him, and he's the next best closer after Kimbrel. Kimbrel went to the White Sox. So we got San Diego, Boston, the Rays, Atlanta, the Dodgers, the Jays, the Phillies. I would eliminate the Phillies because they picked up Kennedy and the Mets. J.A. Happ went to St. Louis for John Gant. All right. From Hector and Liza Nicole, he isn't afraid to swing either way. It's a steal. From user one, laugh out loud. That Cubs team is going to be in champs. Well, they did win a World Series 5 years ago. So they're in a different kind of position now to move people now. Jonathan Shoup, I haven't heard anything. I don't think he's getting moved. CJ Cron, he's still with the Rockies. Daniel Bard, he's still with the Rockies. There was talk about him getting moved. Carlos Santana, I don't think he's getting moved. He's with the Royals. He's not getting moved, I don't think. Since Boston picked up Schwarber, that's not happening. Keep an eye on Bryant Shaw with the Mets. Bryant Shaw was talked about a few years ago. The Mets were talking about him a few years ago. So keep an eye on him. Caleb Smith is out there still. David Peralta still out there. Robert Grossman. The Tigers, I don't think he's getting moved. We'll see if Wilson Contreras gets moved. He might be the one Cub that doesn't get moved. It's going to be him and a bunch of kids. Bunch of Baltimore guys. Scott, Salser, and Tate is still out there. The Kansas City Royals have Scott Barlow out there. The Yankees haven't done anything yet today. They still got Luke Voigt on their team. So don't be surprised in the next 33 minutes he gets moved. Yan Gomes obviously got traded to the A's. Alex Avila still out there. Sean Armstrong got traded to the Rays. Daniel Norris got traded to the Brewers. Mike Minor's still out there, and Michael Fomer is still out there. Keep an eye on Michael Fomer with the Mets. And we'll see. Roberto Denez Jr. is a little behind. Roberto, I would mention that Kimbrel was traded. He was traded to the White Sox. And I would say that Bryant is not going to the Mets. He probably, if he gets traded, 3 teams that have sort of been mentioned with him, or 4 teams, 4 teams. Now, the Blue Jays, the Giants, the Rays, and the Phillies. So Chris Bryant is not going to be here. They picked up Baez. He's not going to be here. So I'm very surprised the Giants haven't done anything yet. They got a half hour, 32 minutes left now. They haven't done anything yet. They could use a little help. From Tim Healy. Louis Rojas said Luis Guillorme is playing shortstop for the Mets tonight. So I guess Baez will be here tomorrow. He probably can't get here in time. From Mark Feinstein, the final Mets-Cubs deal would be Javier Baez and Trevor Williams for Outfielder Pico Armstrong, the Mets' number 5 prospect from MLB Pipeline. Okay. Pat Cole says this. Wasn't Michael Fomer a Met prospect? He was. He's also the 2016 American League Rookie of the Year. And he was traded for Cespedes, along with Luis Cessa, who was traded to the Reds the other day from the Yankees to the Reds. So we got another 31 minutes. Mets still need an arm in that bullpen. And they could probably have lefty in the bullpen too. We'll see now. Now that the big thing is out of the way, getting a position player and a starter, makes me wonder if they'll get another pitcher in here, if not a pretty high-end reliever. So keep an eye on Rosario. So the Mets are willing to deal. It's funny. They were saying they weren't interested in dealing any big prospects, but they dug Pete Crow. I'm so glad he's gone. He was going to be a problem. Trust me, he was going to be a big problem here. I'm glad they moved him. Really, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm really glad. I was not a fan of his. I had a bad feeling about him. And I'm not being mean to the kid. I just had a bad feeling that he was going to come here. He was going to cry about being with the Mets. So the other player in the deal the Mets got in this Baez deal is Trevor Williams. I would assume he'll be a guy they'll put him in here and there. and we'll see. Well, if you hear it being quiet, I'm still here. I'm just sort of going through my phone and going through my list and stuff. But okay, here's some more good news. This is from Michael Mayer. Jacob deGrom threw 36 pitches in his light side session yesterday. He came out feeling strong. That's good. That's good news. It's really good news. FB wants to know is Fomer is a closer now. He kind of finishes the games out. He was on the injured list, I think, with a problem with his shoulder. But he's pitched. He's pitched in the bullpen. He's probably more of a bullpen guy now. But we'll see. I always liked his arm. I wish the Mets hadn't traded him, but they needed to make that trade. So we'll see now where the Mets go now. They have 29 minutes to bring in a reliever here. And you never know. There's been talk over the last few hours of a multi-team trade. Now you have to ask yourself what's going on with Jeff McNeil. Because Jeff McNeil, obviously, in another month or so, he's not going to be playing second. He's probably going to be playing third, unless they tell Baez, "Why don't you play third for the rest of the season?" That's a possibility, too. But I don't think with Lindor that's going to happen now. So I think there'll be a lot less consternation about the problem with up the middle. I think it's pretty obvious they don't really get along too well. Lindor and McNeil don't seem like they really get along that well. From Southern Cal Mets fan. When Lindor comes back and Baez goes to second, McNeil and JD platoon third, I don't think so. I don't know what they're going to do with Davis now. Unless they move him. Unless they get him out of here now. That's a possibility. They may trade him. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. Very good question. From Ken Rosendahl, the Scherzer Turner deal is official. Okay, that's done. From a buddy that's been on the show, Baez is good. Baez is fun. And he seems like a guy that is going to feed off the energy of a pennant race in New York. From Baby 2, we traded Pete Crow Armstrong. What a bad trade for a huge swing and miss guy. Pete Crow Armstrong hasn't played in the minor leagues. He's a guy that's known that can't hit. I mean, have you ever seen Pete Crow Armstrong play other than spring training? No. I don't care about Crow Armstrong. He's going to be a headache. He will be a headache in Chicago. Mike says this. Baez is not enough. We need more. Okay, Mike, you got 26 minutes. Who do you want? I want to know. You're complaining. Who do you want here? A very simple question. Very simple question. Who do you want here? All right, don't come in here. I'm going to say this very clearly. I don't want to hear people coming in. Well, that's not enough. Okay, what do you want? Bryant. Bryant is not happening. Pick something else. They're not going to do that now. They can play Baez at third if they have to. That's not happening. Find something else. I want somebody that I just told, okay, then that's not good enough. You're not thinking. You need to put your thinking cap on. Because at this point, I'm like Mike Francesa at this point. That's not going to be it. That's not going to happen. That's not happening. Okay? The Mets are either going to get Baez or Bryant. They weren't going to get both of them. Simple as that. It was either going to be one or the other. It wasn't going to be both. Fulton Roberts says Davis should get moved. I don't know what they're doing with Davis. So we're going to find. We've got 25 minutes now. 25 minutes until the deadline. And we're going to see who goes where. You know, I get a funny feeling that Trevor Story's not going to get traded. And John Gray's not getting traded. That's sort of been. Jimmy says, let's get Story. They got They got two shortstops now. You want a third shortstop. Trademark Productions. Are the Mets getting Button? Who's Button? You mean Buxton? No. Why would you want Buxton? The guy he's always hurt. He's always hurt. Wow, this trade the Phillies, man. This is a big trade. This is like 6 players involved in this. Oh, wait a minute. Wow. That's a big trade with the Rangers. So the Rangers have been pretty active. They got rid of Gibson. They got rid of Gallo. We'll see if there's another. Mike says, why not? Dodgers can get Turner and Scherzer, and you telling me we couldn't get both? Well, first of all, the Mets don't have the farm system that the Dodgers have. The Dodgers gave up their 2 best prospects. Are you going to be willing to give up Alvarez and Mauricio in that deal? And you're saying that Scherzer's on the level of Chris Bryant? Max Scherzer's a Hall of Famer. Trey Turner's a better player than Chris Bryant. So you're telling me that that none of the players that the Mets got here, Baez is as good as he is. He's not a Hall of Famer. Okay. And the Dodgers have a better farm system than the Mets do. Sorry. It's just how it is. That's just how it is. All right. And the Mets didn't give up anything to get Baez. They gave up nothing. This is a nothing player. You're giving up a player that has not played much in the minor leagues. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's from Andy Martino. Mets talking to Twins again, as Mike Meyer, 22, said. They're not resigned to being done for the day, even after Baez. Wonder what that's about. Maybe they get John Gant. You know, John Gant has been with the Mets, and they trade him. He went in the Kelly Johnson Uribe deal. Let me go through some players here that the Mets might be interested with the Brewers. We got 22 minutes until the deadline. Let me go through a couple of players here, just on the side. Josh Donaldson is there. He's making a lot of money. He's making a lot of money. Making $43 million after this season. We have Max Kepler. Do you want Max Kepler? No. He's been fairly healthy, but not much healthier than Michael Conforto. Michael's played great outfit. He hasn't hit. Uh, Probably looking at the pitching, I would think, with the Twins. Maybe they're looking at Kenta Mahida. Uh, maybe they're talking about Michael Pineda. From Roberto, is there any chance to get a starting pitcher from any other team? Well, they're talking to the Twins, so maybe Mahida, because his name's popped up over the last little while, and Pineda. I know the Mets he's pitched here in New York. And maybe, just maybe, maybe we'll keep our fingers. The Mets will bring back Hansel Robles. Oh, 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 oh. Maybe we'll get Hansel Robles back. But I'll just to get aside, I'll read you a couple names on this that they have here. Tyler Duffy, he's 30 years old, right-handed pitcher. Let me take a look at him. He's pitched 41 games, 39 third innings, 32 strikeouts, a lot of walks. Boy, he's got a lot of walks on him. That's an interesting player. Pat Cole, they're probably talking about replacing Conforto. You got to be a little careful. Like I said, Conforto has won them games even with his glove. He hasn't won that many games with his bat, but he won that game with his arm the other night. He's a very good outfielder. Much better than what was discussed. Maybe keep an eye on John Gant. John Gant, obviously, he's been in the Mets organization. They've drafted him. And they've liked him enough that they had him here for a long time. And he's been a pretty good reliever. Let me get back to Twitter, see what's going on there. Now, please like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe. Let's see. So I got 19 minutes now. So we're having this is some deadline. What a way to finish out the deadline. What a great show. It's a great show. So please like this video if you haven't already. And subscribe. Hold on, I need a drink. I'm not muted. Just checking my phone. Let's see. Yeah, this is. I mean, when when the Mets bring in Baez to play second when Lindor comes back, the Mets are going to have the best double play combination they've had since Alfonso and Ordonez, and that is very exciting. So I would imagine that they probably discussed signing him in the offseason. That makes me happy because I wanted him to be the shortstop here when the Mets had their big offseason this past year. I think I said that that I was more into Baez because I think he's a real impact player on the field, an impact player with the bat, even though he strikes out a lot. He's a guy you can't take your eyes off him on the field. You notice him when he plays. So, very good trade. And they didn't give up much for him, I know some people are annoyed they gave up Pete Crow Armstrong. He didn't play in the minors. He didn't play. He's not played a day in the minor leagues. A lot of it's because of the virus last year and the lockdown. But he got hurt this year right before their season started. Stoney 814 is Mets. Are the Mets interested in anyone else, or are we done trade? No, they need to get another reliever. And they were saying a little while ago the Mets are talking to the Twins, so it's not quite over. And we still got time. Got 16 minutes. Yeah. The Phillies made a big trade. They brought in some pitching. So we got some names that are still out there. Trevor Story's still out there. Chris Bryant is still out there. I don't think Story is getting traded now. I was thinking that he was probably going to get moved. I don't think he's getting moved now. I think the Rockies are scared. They're spooked. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Am I talking to myself? Can you imagine somebody's watching me and they're saying, "What's this guy doing?" But I'm talking to all of you here. That's the one thing now that people have cell phones and they'll be talking in their cars. Back in the day, if you saw someone talking to themselves, like, what is wrong with them? All right, the Astros have made a trade. It's from Ken Rosenthal. Astros close to acquiring right-handed reliever Phil Maton from the Indians, source tells The Athletic. Okay. I don't know who that is. FBA asks you, who's Minnesota's closer? Their closer is Trevor Rogers. He's on the IL right now. And John Gant was drafted by the Mets. Well, you're going to see the return of the Los Mets tonight with the black jerseys tonight. The Los Mets comes back. And, Omar's not running the team anymore, Now, please like this video if you haven't already. And, of course, subscribe to the Baseball Hut. Hut. Just going through my phone, just checking some stuff here. All right, here's the Yankees made a trade. It's from Rosenthal. Yankees acquiring left-handed pitcher Andrew Heaney from the Angels. Source tells The Athletic. The Angels might be getting busy. The Angels might be moving some people now because Heaney had been talked about. I wonder if Voigt's going to be going there. Interesting. So we might see a lot of activity from the Angels because Heaney had been mentioned here and there. I don't think I had him down though. I didn't have him down, but keep an eye on Rosario Iglesias. A lot of teams are on him. A lot of teams. The Mets posted something that's just hashtag LGM. So I think the trade is probably official with Baez, I would think. Let me check SNY if they've just checking some stuff. Also, I would mention that today is Casey Stengel's birthday. Was he 190? It would have been 190 today. Please like this video if you haven't already. Thank you. Let's see what's going on here. Wow. That's got some defensive. They're gonna have some defensive infield now with this situation now. Let me get up to the chat. Ouija Baby 2 says Iglesias good. Yeah, they say he's good. He pitched for the Reds last year, and the Reds traded him. So he's we'll see. We'll see how he is. I'm a little leery about making any deal with the Angels. That's another team. I told you 4 teams I always worry about that the Mets make deals with. the Mariners, the Angels, the A's, and the Indians. I always worry about them making trades with those four teams. So it's always let the buyer beware. I have no problems with the Mets making the trade with the Cubs. That's we have a history of getting some good players from them. So, but Daniel Kim, will we be able to sign Baez? That's a good question. That's a good question, Daniel. You know, that's going to be a very interesting. Uh, that's an interesting thought. I don't know. From Shap 33, I wouldn't trade with Tampa. I know. I think they'll be okay with Rich Hill because Rich Hill he's a known quantity. Rich Hill is a known quantity. That's not a situation where uh, he's a guy. Like I said last night, he's pitched in the World Series. He's very good starter and reliever. Uh, from Bob Nightingale, the Yankees get their starter, left-handed pitcher Andrew Haney from the Angels. So Trevor Story's still out there. I don't think he's getting moved. Chris Bryant is still out there. I don't know what's going on with him. The way things seem like the last few days, it seemed like he kind of felt that he was going to get moved. So I don't know what's going on there. Zach Davies is still with Chicago. Maybe he gets moved someplace. Schwarber Cabrera, the Mets that were mentioned in about a month ago. I haven't heard anything. I know they're talking about Soria. That was mentioned this morning. John Lester's still with the Nationals. Josh Donaldson. The Mets are talking to the Twins right now. Maybe there's some trade that's up and running. I don't know. Kenta Maheda's still out there. Michael Pineda's still out there. Just to mention the Twins. Richard Rodriguez has not been moved. You think he would have been moved already by the Pirates? Rosario Iglesias is still out there. And obviously the Angels are starting to move. So, let's see. From Jeff Passan, Cleveland has been telling teams it's willing to part with relief pitching, and right-handed Philip Maton is the one going to Houston. Yeah. Well, Houston's really bolstered their bullpen too. I would think that Baez is probably going to want what Lindor got. I don't know. Let's not even think about that. Let's just get the best 2 months out of him and see where we're at. From Steve Blanchard, I guess McNeil's on his way out. Baez can hit like McNeil and we'll lose both at the end of the season. Stupid ass Mets couldn't run a lemonade stand. Where's McNeil going? Why is he gone after the season? He's not a free agent. He is another old Mets fan coming in here to be grumpy. This is an old Mets fan right here. Don't be grumpy. Don't be grumpy with the host here. Don't come in here and start complaining. You're either a Mets fan or you're not. If you're not, step off, Junior. Get out of here. We don't need your negativity when we're getting close to the end here. We don't need your negativity. Step off. They got 7 minutes left to the deadline now. Yeah, McNeil. I don't think the Mets really like McNeil, but I haven't heard his name in any kind of move. I mentioned him in the trade because I thought it'd be fun to talk about, but I haven't heard the Mets really moving him. And McNeil can play outfield a little bit. I think they like the idea. If he's here, I think they like the idea of playing him all over the place. Play him a little left, play a little bit right, a little bit of third, a little bit second. When you play these guys all over the place on a regular basis, it puts us you put yourself in a situation where they're not being exposed on a regular basis. So McNeil, I thought he could handle second. I don't think. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now I'm getting a history lesson. Sorry, Steve. I don't take history from an old Mets fan. Goodbye. They do the same thing all the time. All the time. This is weird, I tell you. Bye-bye, Steve. Skadoosh. They do the same things. They come in here complaining, and then they tell you how long they've been a Met fan. Brewers get reliever John Curtis for Peyton Henry, a catcher who goes to the Marlins. Okay. Oh, here we go. We know where Chris Bryant is going. Jeff Pazan. Chris Bryant to the San Francisco Giants. So Chris Bryant, that kind of was where things were going this morning anyway, that he was going to go to the Giants. Okay. Yeah, there you go. I've been a Met fan since Bob. Who cares? I don't give a shit. The hell, get out of here. Get out of here, you old fart. From Bob Nightingale, Chris Bryant is going to the Giants. Again from Jeff Pazan, the Giants are in agreement on a deal to acquire Chris Bryant from the Cubs. So, Dale Robert, Mets fans, you will love Javi. You will make your team better. We will miss him in Chicago. You're new, Dale. Thank you. Thank you for coming by. Got a Cubs fan here. Yeah, he's a good player. He's really good. Very smart. 5 minutes until the trade deadline. Let's refresh the phone. They're all going crazy for Bryant now. Oh, he's probably traded 10 minutes ago. So we got 5 minutes left until the the Cubs have nobody on the team. Davies is still there. He might get moved. He might be the next domino to fall out there. But that whole infield is gone. The infield is gone. Although they picked up some big prospects. Even though I made fun of Pete Crow Armstrong, he's a very good prospect. And Madrigal is a very good player. And he's going to really help. That's a building block for the Cubs. To get that big of a player for Kimbrel. Cubs did a good job today. They really moved a lot of pieces. They brought in some players yesterday with Rizzo. That's the surprise to me. I didn't think Rizzo was going to get moved. I thought he would be the one that would stay. But obviously they're stripping the whole thing down. 4 minutes left. So they're going to be trades announced after. So I'm going to stay on until Dale Robert wants to know he's subscribed. Do I win a car? Not from me. If I'm going to win, if I'm giving out cars, I'm going to have a better car than what I'd be giving you. I can tell you that. You don't win a car. But the Cubs did rather well. They brought in some very good prospects. Madrigal's a good player. He's going to be very good for them. And Crow Armstrong is a big prospect. The Cubs had not had really any kind of farm system since they won the World Series. Worship OG says, I think the Mets are done, honestly. Well, they got 3 minutes left. But things will be announced after the deadline. They're all talking about Chris Bryant. And Trevor Story's still there. So now that Chris Bryant is gone, he is going to the Giants. That's a big move for them. It tells that clubhouse they want to win. And he's a rental out there. Well, Trevor Story's still out there. I don't think he's getting moved. I'd be surprised if Trevor Story gets moved. Hold on, I need a drink. That's right. Daniel Kim the Grim says Contreras is still a Cub. That's right. Contreras is still a Cub, which his name had not been mentioned, but I mentioned him because I thought that he's a veteran player. Jake Marisnick is headed to the San Diego Padres. He was with the Cubs. As you know, he's with the Mets last year. So he got moved. He got traded. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Jake Marisnick. Patco says, I know. Juan Soto to Diamondbacks. Yeah, okay. Diamondbacks haven't done much. They're very quiet. So we got 1 minute left. So they're going to be trades. I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer. From Bremen 7-Eleven. Wait, what happened to Story? I thought you said he was coming to the Mets. I said that Bryant was going to come to the Mets. But those talks broke down. I don't think Story's getting moved now. I don't think Story's getting moved, to be honest with you. Bremen, I think that he's going to stay. I think they're spooked. I think they're gun shy when it comes to making a big move. They'd rather have the guy play out the string and be measurable and get a prospect than trade him and get panned by the media there. It's so tough out there in Colorado. By the way, you go back to MLB Network. We're getting to the very end now. It's now 4:00. Now 4:00. So that's it. We have one big Mets trade. Oh, that sucks. From Mark Fines and the Mets will not have any last minute deals per the source. Still, they come away from deadline deal with Javi Baez and Trevor Williams. I wish they'd gotten a reliever. We'll see. We'll see if they do something. We got another half hour. Freddie Galvis is going to the Phillies. I never said I was right. Okay. I did get Lindor right. I got Trevor Bauer right. And I got Aaron now going to the Cardinals right. Didn't I? Freddie Galvis is going from the Orioles to the Phillies. They just love him, man. This is not a science class, Bremen. This is just sports. Lighten up. Ken Rosenthal, no Buxton trade, staying with Twins. No kidding. Mark Feinstein, the trade deadline has arrived, and Trevor Story will remain with the Cubs per source. They will make him a qualifying offer and collect draft picks. He signs elsewhere. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. They got cold feet. John Morrissey, for the Cubs and Nats, a difficult day, but one made easier every time their fans look at the World Series championships flags that fly forever. So, yeah, I mean the Cubs, the Cubs need to do what they need to do. They gave up so much to win a World Series in 2016. They were going to have to face they were going to have to pay the piper this year, and they did. They traded so many players off that championship team. They did not trade Contreras, and they didn't trade Davies. But we'll see what happens over the next half hour. It's from Anthony DeComo. The Mets are done. Okay. No surprise deals. Their total deadline haul: Javi Baez, Trevor Williams, and Rich Hill. Okay. Yeah, they did the right thing. You don't want to. You know, I was hoping they would have gotten another reliever, but they're gonna have to make do with what they got. So they're gonna have to move a lot of sign a lot of these free agents, I guess, that are getting DFA'd and whatever else. But so Southern Cal Mets fan says Hudson predicts Story to Mets. Hut was the first to say the Story trade to Mets is possible before any Story to Mets news ever came out. That's right. And as it turned out, there's some other stuff from Robert Murray. No more trades to the Padres. So I'm just gonna stay on a little bit, another half hour till 4:30, and then we'll call it. I'll call it a day. We'll call it a day. This is a long day here. I've never done a long live stream this long before. Not since the off season, and my throat's bothering me a little bit from talking. It's a little sore, not scratchy, but sore. There's a lot of muscles I'm using. But again, the Mets brought in a big bat. He's got a lot of power. He's a high energy player. He's a great defensive player. Um, from Dale Robert, lifelong Cubs fan. I don't hurt. I want to see all the former Cubs do great. Cubs were dull and lifeless the last few years. Yeah, they were. You know, they had done so much to win. That is such a big monkey off their back, having to win that World Series. Shap 33. All right, Hut. I'm out. Take care, bro. LFGM. Yeah. Take care, boy. All right. Mark Feinstein. Despite a number of conversations, the Twins did not trade Byron Buxton, Michael Pineda, or Josh Donaldson before the trade deadline. Okay. Yeah, this was fun, and I would mention this really the first time I've ever done this. You know, in terms of just doing the videos and doing the baseball stuff. This is very different experience. So I'm learning. So next year when we do this, hopefully I'll be able to do more for you in terms of the bells and the whistles. I won't be on camera. Yeah, I won't be on camera, but we're gonna have some really hopefully a better situation here for you all. But and we'll have more people in here. That's for certain. But I'm very lucky. I have a very tight knit group of regular subscribers that come into the channel, and I really do appreciate you taking the time to uh, watch. This from John Heyman. John the Shoop is staying with Detroit. Was tough market for position players, even versatile ones. White Sox showed interest before landing Cesar Hernandez. And the Scherzer and Trey Turner deal for the Dodgers is official. The Mets have not made this deal official. It's not official yet for Baez, but it's a big trade. I mean, the Mets they really like proved this defense. The defense had been good anyway. The Mets defense was good anyway. They really took a major step forward in terms of the defensive part of this club, because the Mets have been so bad defensively all these years, the last 20 years. They really took a big step forward even before this deal. Now with Baez on this team, some would say he's better than Lindor, defensively. But he's a Gold Glover at second, a Gold Glover at third, at short, and he's a smart player. You know, it's a really, and then once Lindor comes in, you're gonna have the best double play combination in the game. You just got to keep them healthy, and it'll be interesting to see if they sign him. I don't know what they're gonna do for that. Um, I'm not thinking too much about that. I'm not too worried about that. I don't think anybody should. Just let them play the string out and see what happens. I don't see any other major deals coming down, though. I think that's it for everything. Seems like the Mets are done. I haven't seen too many other people say the Mets were done. I haven't seen Andy say anything. I do file him. I do keep an eye on him on my Twitter account on the comic book cut side. So let me just double check a couple things. Sean Heyman tells you the most obvious thing with Merrifield stays with the Royals. Duh. No kidding. No kidding. I'm sure we'll find out what this sort of talk was with the Mets and the Twins. That's kind of what we were kind of waiting on the last 20 minutes or so before the deadline struck. Um, I'm sure they were talking to about one of these pitchers or one of the relievers. I'm sure they were asking about John Gant. I know I would be. Uh, it's a shame they didn't get another reliever in here, but maybe they'll put Williams in the bullpen. Maybe they look at him like that, because with Carrasco pitching tonight, and DeGrom hopefully coming back in about 2 weeks. Um, maybe Williams in the bullpen. That's a possibility. But we'll see. You know, but they got Rich Hill in here. He's got a lot of experience. I would have liked to see him get another. I would have liked to see him get another bullpen arm, but and a lefty. But they're gonna have to do what they have. They've been okay so far. You know. Southern Cal Mets fan says, we can also move Hill to the pen when we have enough healthy starters, too. From Charlene Sampson, thank you, but I guess she meant Hut. I watch all your videos. The Mets are on their way to postseason. Let's go, Mets. Oh, GM, yeah? We'll see. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens when Lindor comes back, how they're going to do this. You don't have to worry about Baez being second, about him getting his reps. The concern is what they're going to do with McNeil. And they still have J.D. Davis on this team. So J.D. Davis is still here. So they can use him on the bench. From James Brown. Brody screwed the Mets. He traded the best farm players we had, almost nothing to offer. Absolutely right. And it wasn't so much that. They had so much depth with the pitching and so much depth across the board that they just, he moved everybody. He moved Kevin Smith for Castro. Castro's been up and down here to a certain degree. They traded Anthony Kay. Simeon Woods got traded. Simeon Woods Richardson got traded for Berrios. He was here. And he just traded so many, what was it, 10, 12 prospects that were pitchers with the Mets. And who they get? They get Stroman, they traded Kelenic and Justin Dunn. People forget about Justin Dunn. He's pitched pretty good in the majors because he was ready. This kid Kelenic's not ready. He needs to stay in the minor leagues for a year. They rushed him out there. And what are the Mariners doing? They traded their best reliever. And they bring in this guy, this reliever from the Marlins. What the hell are they doing? Unbelievable. See. All right, the Cubs get back for Chris Bryant. Caleb Killian, a pitcher, and an outfielder, Alexander Camargo. Now, I don't think, from what I understand, I don't think the Giants have a good farm system. They didn't give up Joe, and they didn't give up Joey Bart. They didn't give up Joey Bart. What the hell are the Mariners doing? Terrible. Terrible what the Mariners did to the players and to their fan base. They had such a great win the other night. They were down 7-0. 7-0 to the Astros. The next day they traded their closer to the Astros. What, are they crazy? What is DePoto crazy? And then DePoto's like, oh, wait till you see what else we do. They didn't do anything. They brought in a closer from the Marlins. And it seems like this Graveman, he was popular with the players and with the fans. Stupid. Completely, totally stupid. That's how you don't make postseason for 20 years. When you make stupid moves like that. Oh, from Bob Nightingale, he's such a dope. It's not Camargo, it's Alexander Canario. Oh, what a dope. What a dope. What a dope. Mancini and John Means didn't get traded. Oh, here's a trade. Here's a trade. Here's a trade for you that just came over. John Lester has gone to the Cardinals. So the Cardinals have done a couple of things. Bumped up the pitching a little bit. So that so the Nationals, boy oh boy, there's nothing. There's nothing there. From Explosive D, what grade would you give our trade deadline? A B. A B. That's what I'd give them. A B. That's about right. Wow. So John Lester's gone to the Cardinals. Kind of figured he was going to get moved. So he's gone to the Cardinals. That's a good trade. I'm sure they didn't give up much for him. Let's see. So we're after the trading deadline. There's a trade. So John Morris, he confirms it. Our buddy Hansel Robles has been traded. He's going to the Red Sox. Well, you know what's going to happen? He's gonna make the Yankees come back in that postseason. he's gonna blow so many games to them. Charlene asks what happened to Matt Scherzer. Max Scherzer got traded. Max Scherzer got traded to the Dodgers with Trey Turner. But what a great trade deadline this was. Very active. Very, very active. That's terrific. Very, very good. But John Lester got traded. Yeah, Hunter Robles is going to the Red Sox. That is the last place. That is the last place you want Hunter Robles going to. Oh man, that's a disaster waiting to happen. But a big story is Trevor Story did not get traded. Like I said earlier, there was a lot of sort of complaining from teams. Teams were complaining about the Rockies, saying they were being very difficult to deal with. From Southern Cal Mets fan, wow, Red Sox got scraps this day. Well, they picked up Kyle Schwarber. Now, he's on the injured list, but he killed the Mets when he was here, when he was healthy. So he'll be back in about 2-3 weeks, I would think, for them. So he's going to make a big difference. But Hansel Robles, how desperate can you be? How desperate can you be to pick up Hansel Robles? That's not paying attention. From Stony, can't believe Bryant went to the Giants. Well, it makes sense because they lost Evan Longoria. I guess he's probably gonna be out for the season. From Charlene, wow, the Dodgers are a good team now. They're even better with Scherzer. It would have been great if we got him with all our injuries. Scherzer said he didn't want to be in New York, so. James Brown wants to know who got Craig Kimbrell. The White Sox. The White Sox. All right. The Braves made another trade. The Braves get Jorge Soler from the Royals. But they earn a lot of outfielders. From Jack Anderson. Are the Mets done today? How do you think we did? Well, according to what they're saying, the Mets are done. Mets made 2 trades. They picked up Rich Hill on Friday, and they picked up Javi Baez and Trevor Williams today. I would assume Williams will probably go in the bullpen, I would think. Be a long man, I would think. You know. The Cardinals traded John Lester for Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas hit 104 for the Cardinals this year. and he's a 172 lifetime hitter. 5 home runs, 15 RBI. He's spare part. You weren't gonna have to give up a lot to get a um to get Lester now. From Southern Cal Mets fan, Hut gotta go, sir. Have a great day. Carrasco pitching the black jerseys. Great day to be a Mets fan. It is. I guess people giving grades. FB says A minus. James Brown says B minus. I notice the older fans always give always give the lower grades. I say a B. A B. It would have been an A if they picked up another reliever. All right, from MLB Pipeline, the Cubs acquire Alexander Canario, and Caleb Gillian from the Giants for Chris Bryant. Alexander's the number 9 prospect of the Giants, and Killian is the number 30. So they picked up some. They picked up the Cubs did very well today in terms of the prospects. Peter says we need to add more than just Baez. Well, they needed whatever they needed. They couldn't get it. They weren't willing to trade guys like Alvarez and Batty, and apparently not Vientos. Vientos didn't get traded. They gave up a Brody guy, which is very telling. It's very telling. James Brown, this was one of the most active trade deadlines. Insane, actually. I agree. From Charlene, the Mets are magical. I like the way you think, Charlene. The Mets are magical. They always do great things when assumed the underdog. Yep, I agree. FB, the Braves are just trading for outfielders. Yeah. Well, they need some help in that outfield. Obviously they had that bad injury to Acuna. Soria didn't get moved. Iglesias didn't get moved. Those are the 2 big names that didn't get moved. That were relievers. And Trevor Story didn't get moved. I didn't think he was going to get moved the last few hours. I was hearing the Giants, and I heard the Cardinals at the last minute. Peter says I would have taken Donaldson. Yeah, but he's making $43 million after this season. And he's 35 years old. He's gonna be 36 at the end of the year. That's the one problem with Donaldson. He's 36. 36 years old. That age is a problem. This is not like back in the 90s when these guys were taking steroids and they were able to do what they needed to do. No, these guys, they're not like now. They don't take the amphetamines now. They're being watched in terms of everything now. So it's not like, it's not like what's been like in the past few years. So that age was a big problem. At least for me, it was. But let me just see what else is going on here. And please subscribe to the baseball hut if you're just coming through. Gonna end the show in a few more minutes. Peter says they only need him for a year or two, and then bring up. Yeah, but that money, and he's older. He's 36. He's gonna be 36 years old. He's gonna be 36 years old. That's the problem with Donaldson. If Donaldson was 5 years younger, first of all, he was 5 years younger. He's an MVP, and he's just he's a great player. Now he's not a great player anymore, and he's grumpy. Right. So it's a weird thing. Here's another trade from John Morrissey. Tony Watson traded to the Giants. So I guess Pete Crow Armstrong was the Mets' 7th best prospect. I mean, they did give up a good prospect for Baez and Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams is a guy he's probably gonna be in the bullpen, I would think. Peter says age is just a number. Okay. Players are coming up younger now. They're not too many stars that are 35 years old. What number will Baez wear? Nimmo and Baez both have number 9. I don't know. Uh, can't wear 8. Can't wear. Well, he could wear 10, I guess. I don't know what number that Baez is going to wear. Yeah, so at 5:30, Sandy and Zach Scott are going to have a press conference and talk about what they did today. For all the negative Nellies, the Mets made a big move today. This is a big move. This is not, you know, some schmo. This is a big player. So the thing is that he does strike out a lot. He doesn't get on base a lot. That's those are the drawbacks to him. But defensively, he's probably the best defensive infield in the game. He's got good power. He drives runs in. He's fearless. So he's not going to be afraid. He's not going to be afraid of the big moment, and he's been in a big market, and he's performed well. Charlene wants to know, is Baez a rental? I don't know. That I can't answer you. They did give up a lot. They're taking a real risk with him because they're going to have to give him a lot of money because you've seen the money that Lindor got. He's going to want the same money. He's not going to come cheap. Vincent D'Amico. I think we need a bullpen guy. I will never trust Edwin Diaz, especially in the playoffs. Talk about a heart attack waiting to happen. Yeah. But Edwin he's done okay. He's had his moments, but he's done enough to where they're in first. And I said this, he's the key guy on this team. They've not lost any ground over the last 45 games. So we'll see. But we'll see what happens with Baez. We'll see what happens with Williams. Williams is probably going to get put in the bullpen, I would think. And they'll spot start him if they need him to start. Because now they have 5 starters now with Carrasco pitching tonight and Rich Hill. They're not going to need Eichhoff now. So they can get Williams' walk rate to come down. He'll be effective. Now, Zach Davies didn't get moved, as far as I can tell. We're now at 426. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. All right. Here's from one of the reporters, Britt Giroli. With the trading of John Lester to the Cardinals, the Nationals have dealt more than 30% of their Major League Baseball roster in the past 2 days. That's a completely different team. The Cubs have a different team, and the Nationals have a different team. And they're playing each other tonight. Davey Martinez and David Ross are going to have to figure out their lineups. My goodness. And the Mets trade is not official yet, but it's official. They're just going through these medicals. And obviously the Cubs have been very busy. They traded so much of their team, their championship team. They traded Rizzo, Bryant, and Javi Baez. Guys, they had a very long time. From Charles, did we end up finishing the Kenta Mahita trade? No. The Mets, Kenta Mahita, the Twins, I think, are done the trading. And I think the Mets are done too. I wish the Mets had gone and gotten another reliever, but it is what it is. But other than that, the Mets had a very good day today. And it's been a great show. So at least this didn't become like Mets therapy, where I was taking you. What do you think about this? Oh my God, the Mets didn't make a trade. And I don't have to deal with that. So that it's good that there's no I don't have to worry about that. There's no Mets therapy. So just checking a few more things before I end the live stream. Please like the video. Going to end the live stream momentarily. Yeah, I would think that they. Louis said that Louis Guillorme is going to play shortstop tonight. So, from Robert Murray, Rosario Iglesias was not traded by the Angels, according to a source familiar with the situation. So we'll stay on another minute or two. From FB, but Baez is there tonight. Washington's 2 hours on a plane. Not even. Here's the thing: they have to announce before the games who's going to be on the bench. So Baez has not been. The Mets have not announced that Baez is on the team yet. Okay, they've not announced the trade yet, and because they haven't announced the trade, it is not official yet. So in other words, Baez can't just come onto the bench during the game to shake hands because he's not on the 20. Because the trade hasn't been announced, and there were no like moves to have like a corresponding move, which is going to be interesting what the corresponding move is, especially when Jose Peraza comes back. What the corresponding move is going to be here, because you got two guys going to be on this 40-man, and you probably won't know who's going to be on this roster until tomorrow. So they will not be active until tomorrow. So they have to sort of let the other team, they got to let the Reds know and the umpires know who's available on the bench because they got to hand the lineup card. So, and you can't have players in the clubhouse like an hour before the game and stuff like that. So he can't go into the clubhouse before that. James Brown says Drury's going down. Hope not. Guys hit really well. We'll see. Oh, oh boy. The Braves just made another trade. They picked up Richard Rodriguez from the Pirates. The Rays made a move. They acquired Jordan Luplow from the Indians. He'll probably hit like 2 home runs against the Yankees. But Richard Rodriguez is going to the Braves. That's not good. Was he mentioned? I'm on my list. No, he wasn't mentioned. Charles is asking, are we done yet? I think the Mets are done. That's what they've been saying. So, but that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it. I think they made their big move. Hold on a couple more minutes. From 8:10, would have liked to see Chapman to the Mets. Well, that's again. Why are the A's trading one of their best players? Again, another person came in here before. I would like to see that. Are you crazy? That's not happening. That's not going to happen. That wasn't ever happening. Why would a team that's 12 games over 500 trade one of their best players to the Mets? For what? Watching that video, Chris Bryant crying in the dugout at Wrigley Field. He's smiling though. Yeah, I was thinking about this. I don't think Chris Bryant would have done well here. I think he would have struggled here with the pressure because he had been complaining. And I noticed in the offseason, in the offseason, he had been complaining a lot about the pressure playing in Chicago. So I think that he would have had a real tough time being here, especially if he got off to a slow start. But I think that I don't think Baez is going to bother him. I think he's got a very thick skin. He thrives in the chaos, I think. You know. So I think that Baez will be fine here in terms of the pressure. I don't think the pressure is going to bother him. One iota. Seems like he wants it. He thrives on it. I don't think Bryant would have done well. All right, the Mets trade is official. Let me read you the Mets press release. So this is official now. Mets acquire all-star infielder Javi Baez and right-handed pitcher Trevor Williams from Chicago. The New York Mets today announced the club has acquired two-time all-star infielder Javi Baez, right-handed pitcher Trevor Williams, and cash consideration. Wow, they got money back. Wow, they got money back in this deal. From the Chicago Cubs in exchange for minor league outfielder Pete Crow Armstrong. Baez, who's 28, has spent his entire 8-year major league career with the Cubs. This season with Chicago, he is tied for sixth in the National League with 65 RBIs and tied for seventh with 22 home runs. He has a 2.8 wins above replacement according to Baseball Reference. Since 2016, his first full major league season, he has accumulated 9.6 defensive wins above replacement, tied for the fourth in the majors and tied for second in the National League. He's a 4-time winner of the Fielding Bible Award for defensive excellence. He won the award 3 times as a multi-position player and was honored as shortstop last year. Baez became the first player in the Major League Baseball history to start the All-Star Game second shortstop in consecutive seasons. In 2016, he was the co-MVP with John Lester. Wow. And a whole bunch of stuff about Trevor Williams. Nothing of note, just what he's done in his career. He has made 2 starts at Citi Field and owns a 1.93 ERA at the Mets' home ballpark with 4 walks and 10 strikeouts. Crow Armstrong was the Mets' first-round pick in the 2020 first-year player draft out of Harvard Westlake High School in California. He appeared in 6 games with the St. Lucie Mets before he suffered a season-ending shoulder injury. He underwent surgery on his right shoulder for a Glad lesion in May. So Baez. So let me get to Crow Armstrong. So everybody that were complaining when this trade come down about them giving up Crow Armstrong, he's played 6 games in the minor leagues. And he's 19 years old. You know how important it is to play for these kids? And he has not played. Wow. The John Lester deal's official with the Nationals. And the Braves picked up Richard Rodriguez. That's depressing. And that bothers me. But the thing about Crow Armstrong, I said this earlier, is that Crow Armstrong, he's had a reputation of not being a very strong hitter, that he's a defensive center fielder. And just reading some of the things, I hate to use a past reference, but he reminds me of Jason Tyner. Okay. He's a little bit bigger than Jason was. He's not little. And as Powerful Game says, the prospects are hit and miss. And I think he's going to take him a while. I mean, he needs to play. He did not play last year at all, other than high school. And he didn't play this year. 6 games. That's it. Michael Scott, scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate today? A 7. A 7. Let's get an all-star player. And they pick up another pitcher. I'm assuming that they're going to put him in the bullpen. And spot start him if they need him to spot start. They're starting to get some pitchers healthy now. Red Sox to acquire Austin Davies from the Pirates for Michael Chavis. Okay, let me take a peek at this real quick. Austin Davis, lefty. I'll tell you, the Red Sox didn't do much. Other than yesterday, they really didn't do much. They didn't do anything today. The Braves were very active. But don't worry, the Red Sox picked up Hansel Robles. Desperate. That's a desperate move. Desperate. Terrible. But like I said, the Mets did a good job today. They picked up a big player. He's not on the level of Cespedes, but he's a different kind of player, obviously. From Todd Licata, look at it this way: we had Trevor Williams a week ago. We might be 6 up on the Braves. I don't know about that. Charles says this: the flight takes an hour and 15 minutes. Charles is trying to get Baez here quickly. Ray Rod says, "Told you we were getting Baez." Okay. Yes, know about Bryant. He got traded to the Giants. The Cubs did a good job. They've done a good job. They run a lot of talent over the last 2 days. To be able to trade Rizzo, Bryant, and Baez over the course of less than 24 hours, and Kimbrel, they really did a good job. You know, Charles asked, "Did we get ripped off for Baez?" No. Pete Crow Armstrong played 6 games in the minor leagues, and he's hurt this year. Charlene says Baez might be the missing link that we need to get the Mets mojo going. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with J.D. Davis and McNeil now. McNeil's going to play second. J.D. will play third for now. But when Lindor comes back, it's going to be interesting where they play them. That's going to be very interesting. I would assume that McNeil is not going to be the second baseman anymore. That might have been a consideration, in this trade. But we'll see. So I want to thank you all for coming by. I think this is it for me. I call it a night. Call it a trade deadline. So I want to thank you all for coming by. Thank you, Joey, for the super chat. And thank you all for watching. This is a long live stream. I never did an almost 4-hour live stream. Charles, don't even worry about next year. Just let's get through the rest of the season. Let me just double check to see. Oh, Soria did get traded. Joaquin Soria has been traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. Damn. I think I stuck around. Damn. So that's it. So I thank you all for coming by. And thank you for watching. Thanks if you sat through the whole thing for 3 hours and 42 minutes. Thank you. I'm sure a lot of you bounced in between me and the other shows, but thank you. But the really, just a couple of things. Usually I've been doing these shows on Sunday. There won't be a show on Sunday. The shows will start we'll see what happens. I got to see how things work. Like I said, I've never done this kind of a channel before. So all the stuff that I'm doing now, I'm learning now. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to see what works. Because obviously this is a big channel when it comes to rumors and stuff. I have to sort of go with that and go with the flow with that. But obviously it's going to get very quiet in the month of August. There'll be videos popping up here and there. If you watch anything, please leave a comment. And please leave a like. It helps the channel out. And we'll see what happens in September. Hopefully the Mets win this thing, clinch it. They're going to have a fun team with Baez here. But we'll play it by ear. Hopefully we'll be able to sort of do a countdown for clinching with a magic number. I have some ideas. I think you'll like it for clinching. And that's pretty much it. And hopefully you subscribe if you're coming through. Leave a comment. This is a very long show for me. I do have work to do on the comic book hut and some stuff at the Patriot Hut, but I do have some other stuff going on here, and hopefully able to get to it. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you for everybody. Really, I really appreciate the kindness and the support. And a year from now, the channel will be bigger, and you'll still be part, hopefully, of the show. But really, the shows will start to really push. I think in September when we get closer to the end of the season, and we'll see us get there. So keep our fingers crossed that Diaz pitches well. They get Jacob deGrom back on the mound to finish out the season, win his Cy Young, get an MVP. We'll see how Lindor and Baez play together, and then we'll get to postseason in October. So, and then we'll start up again in the off season, and then we'll have a big off season. So, I want to thank you all for coming by. Please subscribe to the Baseball Hut, and I'll see you later. Have a good day. Thanks for giving me your time.